Get back to AMC.
Why is AMC relevant? Why is it relevant in terms of an overall market picture? Why is it even worth talking about? AMC accounts for less than 0.000025% of the total market capitalization of all publicly traded companies in the United States, while at the exact same time accounts for 10.4% of the entire industry's revenue from lending securities. So what does this mean? It means that the business of selling borrows for AMC shares is insanely disproportionate compared to the rest of the market to a ridiculous degree, and that is the understatement of the century, literally accounting for 10.3% of the entire industry's revenue. This is the stock market equivalent to showing up to a fist fight with a nuclear bomb. You're not trying to just fight the other person. You're trying to completely obliterate them from existence. There's a point where shorting crosses the line of, oh, I'm betting that a company is going to fail, to I'm going to force the company to fail.
This message is to the no voters. It's our turn now. It's our turn now. Because you know what you was doing? You was listening to the guy from New York, and he was like, we need more time. It's been a few months. We've been sitting on this. And think about it. Had we listened to you, we would have still been doing this every single day.
For some reason, Brian Reis can only speak with civility in mind when comments align with Project Popcorn's mission, targeting those who don't believe their narrative that shorts would cover, while warning that Aron's dilution would allow them to. Reis fails to grasp that short positions not handled by the conversion would require dilution to eliminate more. Instead, he mocks opposing voices rather than considering contrary views.
And the more that AMC dilutes and the more that AMC is shorted, the more you're going to have that race to the bottom in terms of share price. All of a sudden, those failures to deliver aren't too hard to deliver on because you can buy them back at dirt cheap prices.
Next, he boasted that his creation of Save Billy will finally allow AMC to revive and prevent AMC from going into bankruptcy.
So the new thesis that short sellers are depending on now is that AMC is going to do everything in their power to dilute this stock until it goes to the ground, similar to what they did to Ape. And management is yelling at the top of their lungs, yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Just look at the press releases if you don't believe me from Adam Aron. He's saying there's a massive liquidity crisis. If you look at their recent earnings, there's no massive liquidity crisis. It's all BS.
On August 13th, 2023, Alex Matthew filed a motion questioning whether Vice Chancellor Zern penned the July 21st, 2023 opinion and the settlement approval on the 11th of August. Some of the contents suggested a dramatic shift in linguistics, the use of uncommon words like appurtenant and unitary, citing that these point to a specific author. He closed the motion by saying, "As it turns out, I found my answer on Wikipedia of all places." Judge Laster uses it quite frequently when making decisions. What a strange coincidence, I thought. Zern quickly dismissed Matthew's August 13th claim, saying, "I am the sole author of the July 21st opinion," not addressing the approval of the settlement's authorship.
Well, Markets with May is back at it.
Hey guys, it's May from Markets with May.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome, May. How are you today?
Markets with May, or May Ling Lei, rejoined Anthony Franzetti's live stream, both gloating over retail shareholders' defeat in the settlement. Despite Franzetti's earlier broadcasts expressing doubt, he now claimed he knew the settlement would pass, exposing his contradictory nature and tendency to shift stances for personal gain.
Tony, school's in session.
But I was kind of celebrating the fact that the settlement that we've been saying would pass finally went through. I had maybe one drink too many, May, toasting all the haters who said we were going to be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if it opened Monday over 200.
He and May portrayed retail investors as oblivious to the settlement's arbitrage nature, positioning themselves as savvy insiders and intellectually superior to retail. They openly admitted to exploiting the arbitrage for profit, suggesting a motive to mislead the public. Franzetti claimed that he only traded ape shares, but his reliability is questionable.
There's people that make videos. They think they know what they're talking about, and or they talk like they know what they're talking about.
Donnahue drapes himself in a flimsy guise of credibility, but his motives and grandiose claims reek of a dark truth he can't fully conceal. For 3 years, he's fed the public his real information charade, a house of cards built on fabricated expertise in unraveling complex balance sheets as if only he holds the keys to their secrets, and shamelessly lying about AMC's financial state through 2023 and beyond. Anyone with a shred of logical reasoning can spot the cracks in his facade.
And I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I have not read through this entire thing.
It's 200 pages. I don't blame you.
First item is over 700 pages. I read through all of it. All the board meeting minutes was a lot of panic for the last couple of years of how do we not have these landlords foreclose on us? Even if we filed bankruptcy, some of them might be for it, some of them might not. I'm not going to stick around in a company that's headed for bankruptcy. I consider it a short's dream for this lawsuit to go against AMC.
Franzetti dances around accountability for actions that betrayed AMC's retail shareholders who battled to unmask Adam Aron's plot to seize control of the company. His maneuvers, sly, calculated, and dripping with duplicity, scream guilt. Undermining the lofty truth-teller persona Tony Donnahue parades on YouTube. No matter how slick his delivery, the weight of his heinous betrayal shines through, glaring and undeniable.
Tony, it is hard to address your AMC opinions when the community has been doubting your integrity.
I'll let you handle that one.
If you doubt my integrity, then you haven't been paying attention, and don't watch this video then. The people that actually want real information are here, and that's who I'm here for. Not here for conspiracy theorists and people that doubt my integrity. Too many people not wanting to hear real information on YouTube. So don't be afraid to ask questions. That is what we're here for. I certainly don't know everything, and I'm sure Corax doesn't either, but
no.
We're just here having a conversation, seeing what questions you have. Sometimes when you ask questions, it spurs us to go dig into stuff. But the arbitrage play.
Hey, this is Jim. It's 5:58 p.m. in San Francisco, California on July the 23rd. Pedro and I have been talking for a long time about how irresponsible it's been for some of the YouTube and Twitter people to be convincing the retail community that they have discovered this easy money, bag of money just sitting there waiting to be captured in the form of an arbitrage that somehow the smartest people on Wall Street have missed. You know, that's pure arrogance. That's the only way you make that kind of a mistake. You can't explain it away just because someone hasn't been around that long. I guess these three Wall Street experts don't see the easy arbitrage play. You know, that is bogus right there to even refer to it as an arbitrage play. None of the professionals do that.
Arbitrage, to be fair, is shorting AMC and going long on Ape, right?
Chances are you burned all your credibility with your AMC pump and your HYMC pump and your Ape pump. So I'm here to tell you, and Bed Bath & Beyond. How could I ever forget? You don't know anything about anything.
Others were just playing the conversion play, like not shorting, just going long on Ape.
When May requested a press release from Aron for Monday, Franzetti confirmed it, while oddly noting that he doesn't speak directly to AMC, hinting at possible indirect communication.
Adam Aron is watching. Please put out a press release because I'm not.
There'll be one on Monday.
Yeah, hopefully. Knock on wood. I mean, I get it.
I can't guarantee that. I'm not in communication with Adam Aron or anyone at AMC, but I have a feeling.
He must have been celebrating.
I've interviewed with you before, and you knew nothing about anything, and you still don't.
Franzetti then took a swipe at retail investors, claiming Aron's silence during court proceedings stemmed from insults and their insistence that the settlement would never go through, not their justified frustration and efforts to reveal the truth about Project Popcorn. This hasty generalization reveals Franzetti's lack of insight as he twists events to shield Aron.
I mean, he must have been celebrating. I don't know how much he can still do at his age.
To sit quietly, May, to sit quietly by and have people call you names for months and months saying that the settlement would never go through, yes.
You're on the wrong side of history.
I was celebrating on Friday.
That's Marcos May, okay? Here she is. Who are you? You've been here for a month. I mean, I know people are giving you Q notes and you're reading them. That's why every edit and take you come back and forth from. You just can't talk about the stock, but this is crazy to me.
Months after the vote for the split announcement, Marantz Rantz, a fierce critic of AMC influencers, lambasted their dishonesty on his YouTube channel, exposing flaws in their arguments and primarily targeting the noxious brands of Markets with May and Thomas Smallbone.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people were saying, don't listen to him, don't talk to him, don't reach out. And, you know, for the longest time, I actually didn't. I see his videos pop up and people get upset about what he says and how he delivers it. And they get their feelings hurt and start crying and bitching. But I know he's always grinding. He's always handling his business. And that is something that, you know, I appreciate. I can appreciate a guy like that. And he hasn't been wrong. You know, think about that. People don't want to hear that Adam Aron is shady. That people don't want to hear Adam Aron is actually not here for retail. People don't want to hear Adam Aron is against, you know, a squeeze and Adam Aron this, Adam Aron that. People put him over the pedestal and think he's a god. But, you know, he's been right about it. He's been 100% on the point.
Yeah, the way you talk about Adam Aron is disgusting. As if he's great or if he's good at what he does. And he's consistently taken equity out of the shareholders' value for everything he does.
To understand about a turnaround story is that when the CEO, a turnaround CEO, is brought into a company, the company is typically not in a good spot. The board has brought the CEO in, asking him to allow the company to survive and figure out a strategy to thrive.
He didn't turn anything around. He ruined it for the minute he walked in. He's been there for 7 years. Unless he turned around in a circle, that's the only damn turnaround happening at CEO Adam Aron.
And in fairness to Mr. Aron, as much as the shorts and the haters are hating, he has done an unbelievable job of financing this company.
There's nothing happening there at AMC. This guy walked in and he bought $2 billion worth of failed movie theaters, drove this company into the ground. Once everybody saw what was going on and tried to take their investment back, Wanda Group, everyone else, he sold it off to Silver Lake. He sold it off to Mudrick. He sold it off to retail. He's dumping bags everywhere he can. Is how you think that you can sit here and make videos and tell people that have been holding for 2 years, hey, vote yes. We need this conversion. No, you need the conversion. They don't. If they don't convert, shorts just get shitted on right now. He's in bed with the shorters. Mr. Aron, yeah, your guy who's failed everywhere he goes. You think he was successful everywhere he goes? He's a suit. That's what he is. And he has been. For more than half of his life, he's been a suit. It is an inside job like you've ever seen one, because I can see right through you. You're a suit, just like Adam Aron and just like Sean Goodman. You think the market manipulation is an issue? They are allowing it to happen on purpose. They could have stopped this a long time ago. But you know what they did, May? I know you were here, right? No, you weren't here, okay? But this is not going to benefit anyone but yourself. You're going to get people to hold and say yes to a vote. And why? Because you own Ape. I'm guessing you're going to turn and burn. Who are you again, May? And where did you come from?
It is one thing to swagger through the public square crowing about expertise in a field where you lack formal credentials, only to stumble spectacularly and be exposed as a fraud. But it is a far darker act to wield an illustrious financial pedigree adorned with glittering resumes and prestigious institutional training, and use that gilded platform to ensnare an unsuspecting public in a web of deceit. May Ling Lei possessed all of this and more. A titan of finance and strategy, a consultant cloaked in authority, she brandished a master's degree in social science from the hallowed halls of Columbia University, an undergraduate degree in political science, and a resume that shimmered in titles: part-time instructor in business, finance, and economics, adjunct professor in data science, advisory board member of the enigmatic Lancer Group, a hedge fund shrouded in its own lore, managing member of the elusive Calliope Group, boasting unparalleled research prowess, managing director of the Kiski Group, another hedge fund steeped in ambition, research associate at the storied Chilton Investment Group, financial analyst at Goldman Sachs, and a consultant and financial analyst at the colossal Morgan Stanley. With such a dazzling constellation of credentials, Lei stood poised to command trust. her words carrying the weight of unsaleable truth. Yet, in a pivotal video that looms over financial discourse, she played a decisive role in a scheme that would reshape the fortunes of countless retail investors tethered to AMC. Armed with this arsenal of expertise, Lei faced a fateful choice. Either she deliberately wove a tapestry of lies meticulously scripted to mislead, or she succumbed to a staggering ignorance that belied her lofty titles. The stakes, the forceful execution of Project Popcorn, a plan she helped thrust upon the market. In this video, Lei either orchestrated a brazen deception, crafting a false narrative about court proceedings, AMC's precarious financial state, and the implications of Project Popcorn, all to pave the way for its controversial rollout for her own nefarious gain. Or she revealed a shocking incompetence, blind to the damning evidence she claimed to have studied, evidence that, to any trained eye, exposed the true cost of Project Popcorn, a maneuver that would erode the wealth of retail investors. Far from a hapless misstep, Project Popcorn was a calculated strategy, propelled by Lei's influence, that blindsided those who trusted her expertise. Whether by malice or monumental error, Lei's actions cast a shadow over her glittering resume, leaving a trail of shattered trust and a question that lingers like a storm cloud. How could someone so decorated be so wrong?
But I saw so many questions on people feeling like they were going to lose 90% of their value or something like that on a 10-for-1 split. And that's just, whoever is doing that has, you're very welcome, Batar. That's just wrong. I don't know how to say it.
44 minutes of her talking about the benefits of a reverse stock split and any misunderstandings that you might have.
But in fairness, Mr. Aron is clearly working up to the last hour of the year to defend the stock against short sellers. There is so much misinformation out there. It's actually kind of epic. So let me just be crystal clear. If you are short AMC right now and the board approves the remerger of APE into AMC and approves the reverse split, you need to cover. And you probably should go ahead and do that now. How that's a gigantic Christmas present to both APE and AMC shareholders. But before we get into that, a couple of shout outs.
Clearly one-way agenda here. You want to have the reverse stock split happen after the conversion happens. It's all happening at the same time. But I do have a question for you, Markets with May. Does your ownership change because those preferred equity units don't? And when they go ahead and release more preferred stock onto this market, which they will, this is how they're going to generate more shares and dilute this float and dilute your ownership. You're about to give them that power by voting in that third line that they asked for.
This vote that's coming up could really hurt the short sellers by a lot. And I'm putting this video out because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there when it's clear to me now that I've had time to fully understand these four parts that this unambiguously benefits both APE and AMC shareholders. Now, I also want to indicate that I do own the APE shares. I do not own the AMC shares. Now, the APE shares were given as a dividend to all AMC shareholders. It was non-dilutive, and that happened circa August. And you will be short AMC shares, and your loss will begin around 100%. Now, that would imply that if the APE shareholders refuse to sell, then everybody shorting APE is going to be driven into the AMC market to cover. If we put the two together, you'll have two piles of huge short selling coming together. It means that whoever is short the APE shares or the AMC shares, it's to their benefit to try to get you to sell your AMC shares right now or to further short the AMC shares. In other words, APE shareholders, take profits if you must, but try to keep a couple of APE shares to squeeze out the shorts. Now, some of the reasons that I heard people being told, which seemed really inaccurate to me, the first one was that the cost basis increases in some way that's detrimental to AMC shareholders. And that is really awkward. If your accountant is telling you that, I'd really like to better understand why, because ultimately the cost basis is used for you to visually be able to buy and sell the stock. What's actually happening is capital gains off of the market value, the total market value of where you entered the stock price at. And that shouldn't change. Now, the second thing I heard is that the reduction of shares after you dilute the shares back through and and then reduce the share count hurts retail investors because there'll be less shares for them to buy and sell. And quite frankly, that's just not true. As things currently sit, the price of AMC will be well below $100. Usually retail investors truly get hurt if the price of the stock somehow reverse splits to over 1,000 or something that is truly astronomical for anyone to try to buy.
Is this any new news? Well, it is for AMC shareholders, and you're not one, and you never have been.
Now, in the other video, I go through both the debt and equity capital raise and how it resulted in a bunch of free money for both APE and AMC shareholders.
Shut up.
Today, I want to talk about a short squeeze that reached $90,000 per share. I want to explain what caused the squeeze.
AMC announced on the 14th of August the following dates. August 24th, 2023, the reverse split would occur. August 25th, 2023, the conversion of APE into common stock was next. And on August 28th, 2023, the settlement consideration would be issued.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. The reason I was at my local credit union is because I was making another money transfer. I made another wire transfer to one of my brokerage accounts so that I could buy more AMC, selling my house, to the hiring of several hundred employees for Lit Exchange. And I'm on my way to Dallas. Watch out Fidelity, watch out Schwab. Here comes Lit Exchange. You better give your employees a massive raise and some good benefits because we're coming to poach your best talent.
Hi guys, welcome back again.
Our Founders Program. We're gonna be offering retail investors the opportunity to own a piece of Lit Exchange, and we have been proven correct.
Yes, he's been wrong already, and he admitted it.
There's also a 1-to-10 reverse split incoming, which will not steal anybody's shares. You're going to hear some shills talking about, I'm losing 90% of my shares. Well, no, you're not losing shit. As a matter of fact, their shares are being consolidated. So even though you will go from having 1,000 shares to having 100 shares, they will also increase in value 10 times.
Stop with the bullshit, guys, and stop tailor-making the damn information to make it look like it's something it's not.
I don't read a script. It's like having a single $1 bill. It's like I don't read a script. It's like having a single $10 bill or like having 10 singles. At the end of the day, it's $10. And I'd rather have a $10 bill than 10 singles. The AMC cost to borrow is over 700%.
And Boss Blunt's supposed to be the everything of it. He doesn't know it either. Your company is run wrong. Your company is zero. The debt alone, the cost to actually carry over that debt is zero. The cash burn is zero. You're never going to make a profit. You guys are all a joke. It's like I'm speaking to the wind because half these guys are too dumb to know the difference. And two, oh no, you talked bad about my stock. I can't like you. Okay, then don't like me. But how the hell could you listen to a guy who's right here just leaving out, just omitting the information? Falsification of the data, that's gonna ruin you and your investment. All of you. It's all right. I'll keep doing the homework while they keep talking about it. I'll keep doing it. Walk that walk, talk that talk. Peace.
Nobody's losing 90% of their shares. They're being consolidated, and your price, the value of your account remains the same. To say that I'm excited about AMC doing a reverse split and a conversion and issuing shares on the market again is an understatement. Point two, the fact that we're going to be so fucking rich. I want my fucking money, and I'm not leaving until I get paid. I'm here for billions with a fucking S. I'm not here for a short squeeze. I'm here for a MOAS, for a mother of all short squeezes. That's because I have the utmost confidence in Adam Aron, the AMC board of directors.
Michael Simmons, an investor primarily in APE shares, brought a pending action to the Chancery Court, taking up the recent August 11th judgment 3 days prior. Brian Reis rebutted Simon's claims by characteristically insulting him.
Looks like there's another stupid-ass lawsuit going on right now that they're trying to do. We can all go ahead and thank stupid f***ing Michael Simmons. Thanks, Michael. You're a really, really good guy. And dumbass.
There was a lot of feedback about my opinion on the 10-to-1 reverse split. I told y'all I would vote no. A lot of people said, oh, go watch AMCBiggums, go watch AMCBiggums, he'll change your mind, you gotta see what he's saying. Everyone who doesn't agree with him, he considers them a moron or an idiot. And I'm gonna tell you something. You have scientists, you have archaeologists. They look at the same data and come to different conclusions. So of course, we look at the same data and come to different conclusions. That doesn't make either one of us an idiot or a moron.
Exactly.
Okay?
You have people more loyal to the influencers than they have to the program. The fucking movement.
So here's the biggest stock pumper of them all. This is AMCBiggums, guys. Been doing this shit for like a year and a half already, and it's getting played out. I'm gonna go ahead and play some videos from 4 months ago. Of course, he doesn't do that many videos with himself on it, and I wouldn't either if I looked like this.
You can dilute through Ape and then buy back AMC stock at $1 billion at a time, and then gain control back of your company. Adam Aron's being held hostage by us. We didn't give them raises. We didn't give them more shares so they can continue with operating costs and do whatever they need to do. So he wants to squeeze you guys. He wants to squeeze. This was an amazing move. It gives him options. He can buy back an AMC before he dilutes. He never even needs to think about it. He can dilute the shit out of Ape and never ever put it on the ballot to even ever put it on the ballot. Exactly.
But it's on the ballot.
And he doesn't want predatory people in charge of his company. He doesn't want a hostile takeover. He just went through that. Why would he want to do it again? Apollo Management, Murdoch.
Yeah, okay. He keeps saying Apollo, who is Adam Aron, and then he says Murdoch, who, hey, AMCBiggums, there's no Murdoch. It's Mudrick. You're the damn brains of this operation, Mudrick. And yes, he wanted Mudrick in the deal. That's why he sold them the equity. Additionally, he gave Mudrick money for HYMC. Are you really this stupid? But yes, he did exactly what you said he would never do. He sold to the shorters. Yes, and Terra is the shorts. 10 years he's had the ability to change the way they do business. And what do I mean by 10 years? That's in 2013 when they adopted this idea of Ape, additional equity unit. And he could have saved the company at what point? At what point could he have saved the company? Instead, what he does is he does what you guys do, and he's the victim all of a sudden. Now Adam Aron is doing this in front of movie theaters. How about but you know what this guy does? He gives you an 18-month window to explain that the pandemic, what was used to kill people, is what he's going to explain to you, to give him a sympathy, a pass for the last 18 months or the last 2 years. No way. Before they even got to the pandemic, they changed up their CFO for a reason in 2019. They got a new auditing company for a reason, because they were going under. They wanted to cut down on everything they're doing. Ernst & Young, 2019 is when they took over. And why did they start doing the books? To renegotiate everything, to reorganize the company. That's what they were doing in 2019. New CFO, new auditing firm, and this joker is going to tell you because COVID hit, that's what really took this company out? No. It's the $2 billion they spent buying bad movie theaters. It's pretty despicable for him to use COVID as a cover.
But a company that was performing this poorly before the apes got involved. I mean, let's just look at a recent high. Before the apes got involved, it was down 94%. The apes got involved, attempted to save it, and guess what? Drops a 98% from the point of apes getting involved. Then the apes get involved, and it showed some life. Then it goes to shit anyway, because all they do is dilute, and they get everyone happy by saying the shorts will choke on that. Win pounds. He's playing into it, getting people to continually buy, making horrible investments in shitty movie theaters, paying actresses and celebrities way too much money for commercials, investing in basically a defunct mine.
And this is the thing that I was trying to explain to everybody. Oh, he's gonna fucking help the hedge funds. He's gonna fuck us over. And I'm like, nope.
The only difference is they've sold off everyone's equity, including your own if you were a stockholder, but chances are you're not.
And on top of that, a lot of people are saying, well, he's not going to pay down debt. There's nothing saying that he's going to pay down debt. So again, they continuously talk about paying down debt. I know some people out there were saying they're not going to, but you are completely incorrect.
They have not serviced their debt. Think about this, AMCBiggums. They have not paid 1 ounce of their real corporate debt in the last 2 years.
They're not going to continuously dump on you guys like everybody said they're going to do. They're not going to go out there and just fuck everybody over. Looking over at AMC, the short thesis is about to get they cannot go bankrupt anymore. They're going to be able to get through anything. Like I said, there's nothing bad that can happen from this conversion. Everybody that is freaking out, everybody that, oh, he's just going to fuck us over.
Not just making shit up. You should do more due diligence on this investment that you claim you own.
Never need to raise more than $2.1 billion as his worst case scenario. I figured at most we would sell around 75 million shares. I would say 75 million shares be sold, and that would raise around 2.3 billion in equity. On top of that, like I said, they're going to do a 25 million offering at a time. They're not dumping 100, 200, 300 million shares on you like all the crybabies were saying. Like I said, they're scared shitless, you guys.
Now, they also will be removing the failed experiment called Ape. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean failed experiment? You promoted this damn thing. You also told everybody vote yes. You've done every single step of the way wrong. Oh, they're gonna pounce. It's profitable. This is gonna expose the shorts. How's phase 6 going?
The fact that it's trying to be delayed this time every single time should tell you it's good for us. I mean, literally, like, if it was bad for you, wouldn't the hedge funds fucking let it go through? Why would they go, well, this will hurt us, let's let it go through? No, they're stopping it at every fucking chance they possibly can. I've been buying land already. I already have the land for my puppy farm. IEX, that is where I want you to send your trades. Probably within the next 5-6 months. 900% cost to borrow.
The cost to borrow this morning was around 350%.
We're back at 921% cost to borrow.
And then a few hours later, the cost to borrow exceeded 450%.
Donko trackers here. It is back up to 921%.
The ISDA contracts and swaps and rehypothecations against these stocks have not been closed out. They've been kicked further down the can.
But Billy is fucking saved, guys. Trump 2024, how about Biggums 2024?
This kid's pumping out hopes and dreams. Nothing factual. Just, this is what I think is gonna happen. This is what I think is gonna happen. Well, I told you what's gonna happen. I told you what APE was. APE was the Trojan horse to retail investors. Now they took it all, and you're trying to defend that Adam Aron made one bad deal to get out of it all. He sold to the shorts because they are the shorts. How is the dilution of the float beneficial to anyone that has a 1.5 billion float currently, then a reverse stock split, 10-1, and then refilling up the coffers with a combined vote of 600 million shares? We're talking about 550 shares to the public common A stock and 50 million preferred shares. That's right, they're filling back up. So explain to me exactly what you think is happening here. Adam Aron is doing it again. And I don't know how many times you guys have to see something bad happen and or your money get taken before you realize that it's wrong. AMC insiders don't own this stock. They're not going to do anything beneficial for you, retail. At some point, someone's going to say the truth out here. And if it's just me, then it's just me. But AMCBiggums, Boss Blunts, or anyone else that wants to say this is a positive move, I'm waiting for you guys to stop lying to your following. And for anyone who believes it, for anyone who tells me I'm a shill, I'm putting out videos, really? I'm a shill because I read you the filings themselves, because I show you the balance sheets. That's shilling? Educate yourself, guys. They just took your whole life savings. This investment is trash, and people have lost millions of dollars. Individuals losing hundreds of thousands of dollars listening to your bullshit. Private equity and the bondholders run AMC. This is why they've done the wrong thing at every turn. When the CFO of this company, Sean Goodman, when he owns 1 share of AMC, I'll buy 1 share of AMC. AMCBiggums. You're trash. Peace, punk.
Hey guys, Tony Donnahue here. Welcome back. Join us in the Wise Guys room and hear from a lot of very smart folks. I will be there as well. And we're going to talk about what is coming up in about 8 days with the reverse split, the conversion, and things you need to think about to make sure that you are on the right side of this. Now, this is not going to be a YouTube video because there are a lot of people on YouTube that prefer clickbait over real information. This will be for Discord members only. I will see you there live at 7:30 p.m. tonight. AMC has over $1 billion of cash in the bank and a quarterly cash burn of only about $120 million. They have stated that they have no intention to tap their loan reserves and no need to do so in the next 12 months. They have plenty of cash, guys. And I think that the people talking about immediate dilution are presenting an overly bearish case to scare you out of this investment. That is my opinion. That is how I view this whole thing. There is no immediate concern in my mind about dilution due to the APE unit. It is a ticket to ride. It is a golden ticket. It is a freedom in the back pocket of Adam Aron, knowing that he has the ability to pay off the debt literally at any time of his choosing and wipe off the risk of bankruptcy from this company.
They did dilute the company instantly, like they would. Within 4 months, you are now getting a conversion back to what no one wanted. And what don't you guys want? Dilution. You don't want bonuses for others. You don't want this mass manipulation of your investment. But if you are still invested, which most of you guys claim that you are, or they think you are, diamond-handed, just know the worst thing that could happen just happened. He sold to the villains themselves, the people he's trying to fight, as he calls it. You cannot paint it any other way.
On August 15th, 2023, Theodore Kittila filed an appeal with the Chancery Court asking that the status quo be reimposed pending an appeal to the Supreme Court of Delaware.
All right. Take a look at it like this. We got smashed, but we got smashed because popcorn.
It was almost like they wanted us to just go, I'm done.
On August 16, 2023, an AMC shareholder who objected to the settlement, Alex Holland, submitted a complaint to the New York Stock Exchange. He referenced AMC's August 14, 2023 8K filing that he said would cause significant financial harm to 3.8 million investors. The lengthy letter predicted the devastating outcome of Project Popcorn's final step. Alex mentioned the many cause and effect occurrences taking place within the security that would eventually see retail's investment obliterated at the hands of AMC's board of directors.
There's been a new lawsuit issued against AMC, and it has been issued by the exact same people, the shills, if you will. After the reverse split, every ape share will be representative of 10 AMC shares. But that doesn't change the fact that every ape is going to be one AMC share. So for every share of ape AMC preferred equity unit that a shareholder has by that date, by the effective date, they will receive one share of AMC. So if you have 100 shares of AMC, you will receive one free share of AMC for every 7.5 that you have. That is separate from the conversion of ape to AMC. For every share of ape that you have at the conversion, you will receive one share of AMC. And every time we've seen it in the past, January of 2021 and June of 2021, that AMC issued shares, the price started to skyrocket. Don't be nervous, my friends. Be confident and have courage. And that's exactly how I'm feeling.
I've looked at this with the brightest minds. You name it, Casey Shaw, Pantheon AMC, and 100 other apes. We've all gone over this together and separately in multiple discords, on Twitter and everything, and we've all come to the same. And you don't have to be a genius to see.
The brightest of minds. So he wanted to include all of these other fictitious characters that don't really exist. One of them don't really exist. These guys don't come on camera. These guys don't really say their name. And when they give you the info that they give you, it's spoon-fed to you.
The unidentified, inorganic, and contrived source of Aron's social media campaign ramped up, baiting more retail investors to purchase stock before the reverse stock split, insinuating that a squeeze would result from the conversion. Catherine Larson inevitably released back-to-back stock pumping videos just days before the conversion and split. New investors unaware of what was happening with Project Popcorn, the mechanics of the stock market, and the last 3 years of continual securities fraud would have their new investment quickly reduced so that the short sellers in AMC would be removed from their reckless, unregulated attack on the company with the company's help. Re-uploading the trailer for Apes Together Strong, a film by the Mulligan brothers, originally released on May 5th, 2023, Catherine Larson sought to remind the retail community of a time when the AMC apes were a powerful, united force. This came ahead of the film's full release on May 22nd, 2023. However, Larson and other core influencers in Project Popcorn, after gaining the trust of retail investors, later let down some of the community by aligning with the hedge funds they once convincingly opposed. They fractured the apes, sowing deep division. With the reverse stock split looming, the re-release of the inspiring documentary trailer served to reinforce Catherine Larson's message. It rallied the community while subtly encouraging more people to buy the stock, ultimately funneling additional funds from retail investors into the market.
Today, I want to talk about how the shorts must close on conversion. Today, I want to talk about how the shorts will lose trillions of dollars as time goes by until they finally succumb to the mother of all short squeezes. I want to explain and run through the numbers on how this user has been offered $1 trillion to lend out his AMC shares for the long term.
Linda Blair and the fat chick get getting closer and closer and closer. The AMC court document. The CEO is the one supposed to be keeping us up to date on litigation, you know, like the XRP CEO, but no, not Popcorn. Vetting that paperwork is important because obviously that leads to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of, oh my. And since we have such little time left, we really need that.
Over the next several days, Catherine Larson tweets on numerous occasions to anyone seeing her posts in order to pump AMC further before the reverse split and conversion, giving the impression that money will be made by those investing. In truth, the money made was reverted to those shorting the stock rather than to retail investors, as was intended. Larson tagged Peter Han and Brian Reis along with a user called @CoreyCorner, who was actively tracking down and attempting to expose accounts that were revealing Project Popcorn to the public. A woman named Christy, who he stalked and harassed over the internet during the prime of Project Popcorn, revealed him to be Corey Amex, an admissions representative at Indiana Business College. Larson suggested that there were multiple accounts everywhere, possibly inferring to bots or to a collective group of people attempting to send a collective message to retail investors about AMC's underhanded dealings with the stock. In her next tweet, she posted that she bought more shares, though she was never able to prove she had any to begin with, again pumping the stock up as if the conversion would cause a squeeze or some sort of exponential growth, supposedly taking gullible people along with her. After that, she used the phrase, "No one is selling," while tagging Brian Reis, because if they don't sell, their portfolio's holdings will go straight to the brokers, transferring the equity elsewhere, essentially digital theft on a massive scale. Though Catherine Larson has participated in one of the largest heists in stock market history, this tweet alone should cement her place as one of the primary social media accomplices in the scheme. She directed her audience to believe that, like 2021, where AMC rose in value to its all-time high, it gave her the same vibes. She closed out the tweet with a phrase most of the influencers continued to use to excite others into purchasing the stock. If the shorts were truly in trouble because of the reverse split, then the investor only had to gain from the reverse split. She repeated the expression in reply to Marcel Kalinovic's post, once more revealing the synchronized collaboration among the influencers. Eitan Leibovitz attempted to refute Catherine Larson's posts, but was met with a strange command from her to stand down. In one of her final tweets, she inquired whether anyone knew of a Ponzi scheme larger than the one Bernie Madoff executed in the 1990s, while she was aiding a financial terrorism plot by AMC to strip retail investors of their money and ownership in the company.
When you I don't want to say the S word, when you shoot out shares like candy, all of a sudden what happens? Well, shorts are very, very happy.
On August 21st, 2023, Rose Izzo's appeal to stay the status quo order was denied. She then withdrew her appeal in the Court of Chancery, the same day the Supreme Court of Delaware denied Rose Izzo a motion for a status quo order pending appeal.
So there was an appeal through the Supreme Court as well, to the Supreme Court of Delaware, and that was denied.
Catherine Larson celebrated Rose Izzo's defeat again, as she was unable to send the case to the Supreme Court of Delaware, and thereby another monumental loss for retail investors. On August 22, 2023, Catherine Larson released another stock-pumping video 2 days before the reverse split was set to commence. That evening, she shared news of an accident she endured, receiving hospital treatment for her injuries. Without insight from close friends or family, it is unclear if the post sought sympathy, especially given her ongoing promotion of AMC stock and misleading retail investors into financial losses. Her background in makeup effects artistry raises questions about whether the post was a calculated move to deflect criticism for aiding Aron in further eroding retail investors' ownership of AMC. A tweet on the 22nd from Brian Reis shamed the no voters, saying had the settlement not been approved, Aron would have been forced to sell at a low price, like he has done before with Antara. His words are not overtly intellectually market-focused, as it is often difficult to decipher his exceptionally ineffective grammar.
Yanis picked up 61 shares. Absolutely great, buddy. Congrats. Ask me any questions that you have right now about AMC and Ape, and I will go through them one by one.
A single day from Project Popcorn's finish line, Marcel Kalinovic's unfiltered video speaks volumes, exposing his deplorable ego-fueled misinformation spiral.
Who paid for that house and what script are you reading? Let's go, Brandon. I never sell myself sleep tight. I paid for this house. Fucking idiot. The Giving Project says you're a shill. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking moron. The shorts can't
fucking afford me. None of them could fucking afford me. Have you been fucking listening at all? Are you fucking retarded? No, that's an insult to retards. You're just fucking stupid, man. It's simple. Why don't people understand? They can't fucking close their positions. They can't fucking close them. They have no fucking choice. They're stuck until retail sells. I've already got multi-million-dollar fucking companies, and I'm going for billions with a fucking S. They cannot fucking afford me because I do not provide financial advice. I am going with my due diligence, and I'm not wrong. And when I do have to show up in front of court, I will be able to show them all of these fucking videos, all of my fucking tweets, everything on Reddit, everything on TikTok and Instagram and so on that I've ever put out there, and say I simply put out educational information. I didn't take a dime from anybody. Did you just super chat me $420? Why would you send me that much money? You could spend that on shares. You know what though? Thank you so much. And I did not short AMC and Ape. I don't read a script. AMC could easily raise $17 billion by issuing these 25 billion. I'm sorry. Excuse me. AMC could easily raise $17 billion by issuing these 25 million shares on the open market. I don't read a script. That shit's up here because I fucking know these things like the back of my hand because I've done my due diligence on this stock for almost 3 fucking years.
Whether you like me or you don't like me, listen up because I'm gonna explain something to you. They all got scripts for that. Hello motherfuckers on the other side. I know you all got scripts in front of you that were handed to you. I get it.
It's almost too easy for me at this point. It's because I know things about this stock and the stock market that most people can only dream of. What do you think of all the other content creators who quit AMC? Matt Kohrs even put a clown face on your pick in a recent video. I think that's absolutely hilarious. I'm flattered, and I've got no interest in what Matt Kohrs has to say because the guy knows absolutely nothing about AMC. Ape Henry asks, my fear is that after the reverse split, we're going to come down to the same levels we're at now. Oh, my friend, the shorts spent a lot of money bringing this bitch down right now to $1.96. But I own hundreds of thousands of dollars of AMC and Ape shares and call contracts. I am not short the stock, either of the stock. I do not short or buy or sell puts on AMC or Ape or AMC1 or AMC2. I don't read a script. That being said, I have a vested interest in supporting my favorite stock. That means that after the reverse split in the morning, AMC will be worth $19.60. Because I have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in this stock. I believe AMC at some point will squeeze much higher than GameStop ever did. The value of the shorts positions does not decrease because of a reverse split. It is simply the number of short positions is adjusted to match the reverse split, but the actual value does not change. Easily, that would lead them the ability to pay off their $6 billion in debt and be completely debt-free and profitable.
Adam Aron is not paying down AMC's debt. You are paying down AMC's debt. And you're doing so literally with less than 10 cents on the dollar as well. Adam Aron is paying down debt out of your pocket. Adam Aron takes $1 from you and he pays less than 10 cents down on the debt. Think about that. Adam Aron steals $1 out of your pocket and pays down or uses 10 cents out of that dollar to pay down AMC's debt. You and I lost $2.1 billion and Adam Aron paid off $163 million. That is just a little over a 5% ratio. 5 cents on the dollar is what Adam Aron utilized out of his catastrophic thievery to take $2.1 billion out of the hands of retail investors.
That would destroy the short thesis.
People will look you in the eye today and tell you that short sellers have been destroyed on AMC stock. Yet the fact of the matter is that AMC is trading at a lower level today than it has been in years. And look, folks, we've been talking about this for a long, long time, and it's always FUD when you say something bad about a management decision. But it's so clear if you just open your eyes for 2 seconds and you look at how just the stock price reacts to different decisions.
And in addition, you know what else they could do? After that, they could issue more dividends. You know who has to pay for those dividends? Shorts. I can't fucking wait. I hope Adam Aron dumps a bunch of shares, because guess what that does? That causes more buying pressure. That causes the shorts to buy up those fucking shares because they desperately need them, just like the last few times. Because 25 million shares from AMC is not enough for them to close out their fucking shorts. That's why they have to buy those shares. And that's why the price goes up higher when they do issue them.
Did the stock move higher? Did AMC move higher because of anything that Adam Aron was doing? Absolutely not. He slithered his way into a $163 million debt reduction, but it only cost you $2.1 billion.
Don't buy, sell, or hold simply because you heard me say something. Do your own homework. Look up the OBV. Look up the short interest. Look up how short exempts work. Look about naked shorts. Check out shorts marked as long. Welcome to the real world.
The day of the reverse split, August 24th, 2023, while the price continued to drop, Reis tweeted again with a short message attempting to give retail shareholders hope, while one asked an obvious question. Aron had money, but needed more, when he didn't need the reverse stock split or conversion. In an effort to dispel what was happening to AMC's price after the split began, Phillip Pitts repeated the same inaccurate and ineffective message to retail.
So AMC had its reverse split today, 1 for 10.
The Hollywood Reporter posted an article showing AMC's immediate drop in price before the split's commencement. The split and conversion resulted in AMC's outstanding shares reverting to 158,382,446 shares. The dilution of common stockholders was at 1,749%, ruining their investment in one fell swoop. The cost average of shareholders rose between $50 per share to a staggering $150 per share, with the planned reduction of 90% of their investment, transferring the wealth from the people who saved the company to the people, including AMC's board of directors, destroying the company.
We are witnessing live the largest theft campaign in the history of America.
How epic is that?
And it still managed to drop another 30% plus today in split adjusted prices at lows. And if you look at the split adjusted prices since heights in 2021, it's gone from $726.20 to $13.33. Before the split, this would have been $72.62 to $1.33. If you do the math on that, that is a drop of about 98%, a little bit more than 98%. And tomorrow, Ape, which has also gone down dramatically since it was introduced, will be rejoining with AMC, and that's going to cause about a 90% dilution of AMC common stock.
On August 25th, 2023, AMC converted outstanding apes to common stock.
Once they're able to, that combined stock is going to be dumped on so aggressively your head is going to spin off. There's going to be so many shares out, shorts are going to be like, wow, it's like raining shares.
Adam, explain, man. We're waiting for you to explain what's going on. My average was at $6 before this. Now my average is at $132 per share. $132 with like 30 shares when I had hundreds. No, explain how this is supposed to help you in the business and the company. The price is just spiking. It's shooting right back down, right along with our accounts. Only person benefiting in this right now is somebody who could short the company. The company ain't benefiting. We ain't benefit. Only the people, you said the thesis is to kill the short thesis is to get the company strengthened. So if you want to kill the short thesis, that means you're against the shorts. Yet they're the only ones making money and you ain't mad right now. You ain't saying nothing. The move you made, I'm pretty sure you already knew was going to drop our averages down and hurt us like this. What was our incentive? Don't say that little lousy one share for whatever. The only people benefiting in this right now are the shorts. For you to be so mad and against them and they'll be the only one benefiting off of your company, which is our company, you sure don't seem to be saying that and are mad right now. And wasn't that you that said, let's make it to where they can't run once we do the reverse split? Well, I see what you meant by that now, because I see that we can't make money on the way down. So that's what you meant by we can't run, right? You want to hold us in place where we can't make money on the way down, but we good enough to keep our money in your company and our shares in your company, to keep your company going. But you don't care about us enough to make money on the way down, to strengthen us even more? Like, nothing about this adds up, and nothing about this can make any sense if you try to explain it. Nothing.
On August 27th, 2023, risk advisor Skyler Roundtree posted on X exposing critical details about AMC's Project Popcorn and its ties to FTX. He claimed that 8 quadrillion tokenized AMC shares remained available, with FTX stating CM Equity Holdings acted as their custodian, though these tokens were backed by nothing. In the trading days before the post, 832 million shares were settled, despite a float which represented the total number of shares available being traded 5 times over. Roundtree noted that AMC had been listed on the threshold securities list for 43 consecutive days, defying Regulation Show, which governs short selling practices. He added that 0 shares were available for lending since August 16, 2023. Roundtree accused Wall Street of perpetrating daily fraud, specifically naming reporter Charles Gasparino, Doug Sifu, and Citadel Securities as figures accused of aiding in large-scale securities theft. He detailed Wall Street's tools used to suppress price discovery, describing them as well-documented mechanisms enabling these crimes. Brazilian depository receipts, crypto tokens, total return swaps, failure to delivers, short exemptions, halts, communication off regulatory channels, commingling, removal of buy ability, payment for order flow, off-exchange dark pool routing, New York reverse repurchase market for margin, liquidity pressure, shorting during the SSR rule, naked shorting, ladder attacks, coordinated media attacks. Previously, on December 10, 2022, Roundtree called January 27, 2021 the worst crime against U.S. investors in history. He revealed that FTX established a safe harbor pool for market makers to settle trades, followed by the removal of the buy button on several platforms the next day, redirecting trades away from lit exchanges, publicly transparent markets. The New York Stock Exchange urged market makers to use its platform for accurate trade reporting on January 27th, but Roundtree claimed the event was deliberately kept off the books, compounding the offense. He further stated that SEC officer Hester Pierce was aware of FTX tokenized safe harbor framework, which enabled these illicit activities. Roundtree reported that 339 million AMC trades existed on that date, with over 1.25 billion trades settled off public exchanges away from regulatory oversight. United States and worldwide citizens should recognize that the U.S. government's courts, financial exchanges, and other institutions operate as a separate oligarchical system, a separate society distinct from the public-facing facade presented to ordinary people. AMC CEO Adam Aron and the board of directors at the time are inextricably bound to a January 27th, 2021 meeting and the rapid actions against retail shareholders to these events, implicating Aron in a hidden network of individuals and societies orchestrating global financial exploits for personal gain. What transpired on January 27, 2021 marks a historically significant moment. The sudden flurry of activity among hedge funds was sparked by events leading up to that date. Citadel Securities acquired a substantial stake in Melvin Capital on January 25th, and AMC's CEO Adam Aron declared bankruptcy was no longer a concern. On January 26th, retail investors dealt major losses to hedge funds, including Melvin, who took their stake out of GameStop. No doubt Ken Griffin and Citadel felt the pinch of retail investors. Aron noted that the apes stepped in to save the day that evening. During AMC's special meeting on the 27th, the board of directors referenced an unattributed social media-driven effort that inflated AMC's stock price. While the source remains unclear, the ambiguous language in the meeting hints at possible involvement by AMC itself. Adam Aron proposed adding 500 million shares to the float, despite previously stating bankruptcy was off the table. This raises questions about the necessity of additional shares if AMC was financially secure. The true motivations appear to lie elsewhere. In either early 2021 or during the proceedings at the Chancery Court, Aron transparently lied about AMC's need for additional shares to stave off bankruptcy. On January 27, 2021, FTX listed wrapped tokenized shares of AMC and GameStop on Ethereum's blockchain, with a capped supply of 525,000, enabling users to trade synthetic AMC shares on its exchange. On that same day, the Reddit group r/AMC Stock was established as the official AMC-focused subreddit, moderated by an ex-user who later distanced themselves from the role after the completion of Project Popcorn. The group heavily promoted AMC as a sound investment, often dismissing those who questioned the company's strategy. AMC investor Albatross 0007 alleged that the group engaged in deceptive tactics by targeting verified shareholders who objected during the Chancery Court lawsuit. According to Albatross 0007, the group's moderator supported AMC CEO Adam Aron, despite his reported connections to Jeffrey Epstein and former President Bill Clinton. They claimed the moderator later shifted their political alignment to a MAGA supporter, purportedly to deflect FBI scrutiny. Albatross 0007 further accused the moderator of involvement in securities fraud, which they alleged was pervasive within AMC at the time, facilitating the theft of billions of dollars. They also suggested a connection to former Reddit super moderator Ghislaine Maxwell, a well-known associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Adam Aron stated that AMC's float was 100 million shares as of January 27, 2021, with Wanda Group holding half but not trading them on January 27th. The remaining 50 million shares were traded at a staggering rate 25 times every 15 minutes, totaling 1.25 billion shares. The stock halted 6 times that day. Mark Cuban received his AMC token on January 27, 2021. Multiple AMC token transactions were recorded on the Ethereum blockchain also that evening. On July 19, 2023, Kevin Malone, founder of Malone Wealth Ventures, posted on X. He reported that the borrow rate of AMC shares had soared above 1,000%. Malone alleged that CEO Adam Aron may have earned as much as $1.4 million per week by lending out his shares, a practice that, if true, could have facilitated short selling during key periods of price decline. While not definitively confirmed, the implication is that this arrangement might have allowed him to profit even as ordinary shareholders saw the value of their positions erode. On July 20th, Malone criticized Aron's letter to investors requesting approval to sell more common stock shares. He highlighted Aron's $42 million share sale before Project Popcorn was fully implemented, hinting at insider trading. Malone noted that since Project Popcorn began, Aron had not purchased a single AMC share with his own funds, underscoring his lack of confidence in the company's value. On July 25, 2023, Kevin Malone posted on X exposing how AMC CEO Adam Aron benefited from Project Popcorn. He revealed that Aron's salary increased annually since the project's inception, while Aron promoted a false narrative of AMC's impending bankruptcy to the public. Malone condemned AMC's board of directors for obliterating shareholder value through Project Popcorn, emphasizing that their actions consistently harmed retail investors. On August 25th, Malone's next post connects this current chronological presentation, marking AMC's board of directors willfully wiping out their 3.8 million retail shareholders. The settlement consideration of giving back some of retail's ownership after the remainder was stolen from them takes place on August 28, 2023, which, like the tax-free fake dividend of APE, held no real value when considering how much AMC and hedge funds had taken from them since APE's introduction. If including the continued drop in price and today's value, Aron on the cusp of bankruptcy once again, there was no value in the settlement, not even for Aron's insistence that he would pay down the debt. Though repeated, what AMC's management has done is willingly allow Project Popcorn to destroy the company from within and without. With the amount of equity that retail held as APE, it converted into 99,540,641 common stock shares from over 995 million original AMC preferred equity units. now leaving the total number of common stock shares at 158,382,446 Class A common stock shares remaining. AMC had secured approval to release an extra 550 million Class A common stock shares, amounting to a 1,449% surge in further dilution. Following the reverse split, several AMC executives who had already liquidated the bulk of their shares, most of which had been gifted rather than purchased, retained only a small stake in the company. Shortly thereafter, they were granted new stock awards, creating the public illusion that they too were sharing in the hardship faced by retail investors. In truth, their prior divestments insulated them from loss, allowing them to avoid the very financial damage that everyday shareholders were forced to endure. These included Chavaria, Koch, Sach, Cox, Ellis, Locke, Sussman, Paulus, Frank, Connor, Latter, and Aron.
I'm actually thinking this lawsuit was all wrong. I'm actually thinking that this should have been a lawsuit. Be honest with you, this is straight out fraud.
What would you say to Adam Aron?
I would just say you're a disgrace. You should resign immediately, and you need to apologize for your actions, or at least come clean what went on, and tell people the truth, because what he's done and what he's done on the record is toxic. He took advantage of one class of investors to help a very sophisticated class of investors who were his friends. Everything he touches fails because he knew flat out it wasn't a reward. He knew flat out it wasn't a dividend. He knew it was a rights offering to dilute the living out of people no matter what, and he told them the other way around.
Retail shareholders were begging for a dividend, which is wrong because they actually gave them a dividend, all right, but it wasn't a real dividend. It was actually just dilution.
Adam Aron is not some sort of a hero. Adam Aron is a thief.
Allegheny will only be made whole after they rob it from us.
And I'm going to tell you guys something. Anybody who still thinks that Adam Aron has the best interests of retail investors at heart, either they're not paying attention or their critical thinking skills have been warped, but maybe they are mentally compromised. All the evidence in these court filings point to the fact that Adam Aron conspired with Citigroup to dilute our shares. I mean, and they even call it Operation Popcorn, like it was some CIA type clandestine operation. But in a sense it was a clandestine operation against retail investors. It was a clandestine operation to steal our company, to steal our company from out under us, to dilute our shares. So all you yes voters, all you people that attack me every day and say that Adam Aron is on your side, please go look at the Popcorn Project documents. And after you read those documents, I want you to tell me that you still believe Adam Aron is on your side. And if after you read these documents, after you've seen what Adam Aron did with Citigroup to create those ape shares, if you still believe that, you might have some issues.
This is collusion. Project Popcorn, aka Ape, a checkmate idea to cheat and deceive shareholders from Citigroup, made famous by our very own silverback CEO Adam Aron. And I could smell the stench of Adam Aron's BS. Section 2. Quote unquote, in the summer of 2021, AMC was running out of common stock to use to raise equity capital and attempted to authorize additional common stock. Unable to authorize more, the company made zero attempt to ask for more AMC shares to sell. No attempt was made at all to say unable is laughable. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? Because Citigroup had this great idea to begin Project Popcorn in the form of a preferred equity that could convert into common stock. He pulled the vote. Why would he pull the vote? Probably because of Project
Popcorn, a scheme so greasy even your fingers would slip trying to hold the truth. It's a tale of deception, dilution, and popcorn so stale it could break your teeth. Allegedly orchestrated by AMC's very own CEO and a shadowy crew of insider traders and some social media influencers who were cashing out faster than an ATM on payday.
So what did Adam Aron decide to do? On August 4th, he decided to do his tweet storm and try to get everyone to understand what it was. Today we pounce. And you guys remember all of this because it's so painful.
Problem here is very, very clear. Management has given short sellers the green light to dump on the stock as much as possible. The sad thing is that AMC is signaling right now that it is open season to short the hell out of their stock, and has in effect armed short sellers again and again. And this is the most obvious attempt at that. And you can just tell by looking at how the stock is trading. Then shareholders didn't want dilution, so AMC figured out a workaround with APE. APE got massively diluted, then APE was trading too low. So guess what happens? Well, we need to recombine APE to AMC. Now they're recombining, AMC's dropping like a rock, and what are they gonna do next? More dilution with AMC common stock.
The company's banker, Citigroup, began work on Project Popcorn, a prospective issuance of an alternative form of equity that could convert into common stock. Now we know that it was Citigroup that came up with this idea, and they went ahead and came up with the idea. AMC and Citigroup considers plans for potential rights offering that would allow investors to buy common stock equivalent that could eventually convert into common stock. By February of 2022, Citigroup proposed that AMC could call that APE, right? AMC Preferred Equity Units. Van Zandt, Derek Van Zandt, he is the senior director, manager for Citigroup for all of North America. He's been there for 23 years. Yes, these are the guys, the masterminds. The unfortunate part is they took the shareholder equity from you and they only raised maybe double that amount. It wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it for what they did. And nobody wants to tell them that. And that's the unfortunate part. But hey, it wasn't meant to be worth it because Antura and Citigroup partnered up on this one. They took the 10 million preferred shares, converted them, and what was it? It was now 1 billion preferred equity units, APEs, and they diluted that whole amount as well. When the APE units came out and he said, "This is what I'm doing for you. This is my checkmate. This is my pounce." That was a lie. But we have to vote yes, or else we're going to dilute even more. Well, we have to vote yes, or else this company's going to fail. Guys, the company has failed.
After the introduction at APE, I felt that the management at AMC was just too focused on dilution and needlessly and recklessly destroying shareholder value. And honestly, I was pretty pissed off that they named this APE in the first place because it encourages a lot of the loyal shareholders of AMC that basically bailed out the company. Not basically, but 100% bailed out the company, and it basically encouraged them to hold it, while at the same time trying to have them ignore that this was the dilutive vehicle that management was just gonna dump on massively.
I view it as the company was already not doing well. The Rona period hit, and that caused it to really not do well because there was no revenue coming in. Then a group of internet retail traders and investors saved the company. We saved it. They didn't save it. If anyone on God's green earth tells you that the leadership team saved AMC, understand that they are woefully uninformed.
And he went and had 12 movie premieres or 16 movie premieres in 16 various cities to tell people how great this was, knowing full well that was a lie.
Because it was apes. It was his following. It was, they were just a legion of people that were going to follow this man no matter where he went because they didn't know any better. And they knew they had that in the bag.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he was going to destroy people's lives, and he didn't care. He knew, acted with malice, acted with forethought, and knew exactly what the outcome was going to be.
I'm tired of acting as if Adam Aron's a good guy. There's no proof to that whatsoever. He has milked this community while lining his own pockets with millions and millions and millions of dollars. And if you bring that up, apparently that means you work for Citadel, which it's such bull. It's straight up bull.
Well, one, all the insiders were selling off their shares, and they have since to buy not one share, and they won't buy a share. And why? Because they had this information. This is non-public information, and they traded off of it. So I want to know when the SEC is going to look into insider trading at this point. Guys, they knew that everyone was going to sell off. It was going to dilute the value. They already knew. That's why. Why do you think, and Sean Goodman's the one who actually said this, Sean Goodman is the one who actually sold off every single share he owns of APE, of AMC, you name it, he sells, because they all knew what was going to happen here. Before they announced APE, before they announced that they were going to do an additional preferred equity unit, you know what they did? They told all the insiders, hey guys, we're about to do this, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to allow all of you to sell your shares. They lifted the clause on the requirements for insiders to hold shares. They lifted it and they made a window of 13 months, allowing everyone to sell every share they had. And they continue to sell 99.9% of all shares in that time frame. Now they say they're going to ride with you. We ride with you. They have no choice because the bylaws state that they have to hold X amount of shares. Well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to hold them until they retire, and then they're going to sell. So why the hell would we even care about market manipulation when it's happening from within?
People are not looking at this situation with any semblance of logic. To the people who probably like vehemently hate us right now, I think our argument is like actually very close to those. We're just adding one more person onto the list that we think's taking advantage of retail, and they don't want to hear it because to them, he is symbolically representative of the ape movement and their financial investment. Look at his stock sales, look at him giving stock to his own son, and look at his buddies, Mudrick and Antera. They fared very well in this situation. HYMC, Highcroft, wherever that was, that fared very well. The only people I see really losing in this situation is the exact same subset of people who saved the company to begin with.
Is there anybody out there who still don't believe that AMC was corruption? I know he said with his crooked mouth, you can just easily short $3 as you can 30. But the point is, they're trying to keep AMC alive to keep on draining us. So why would they short it out at $3 and then kill the whole thing? So they need room to jump up so they can make money on the way down on us again. This time it wasn't about us putting money in and they taking it. This was about them draining the money we already had in it. They wanted to tank it and take way more of our money without killing the business. Y'all be crazy to put your money back in the stock market with anything. I don't know if Elon Musk gonna bust their heads with his stock, but I don't see no other stock, no other ticker symbol going through all this because their business is failing. And Neat and shares right now, they're gonna be going out of business. I don't see no other stock doing this. Why is AMC special? Why all of a sudden do Adam Aron need to hurry up and do this or he's gonna be out of business in a couple of years? There's a lot of people in that situation, but they ain't doing it to their shareholders.
On August 28, 2023, Theodore Kittila made an application for an interim award of attorney's fees and expenses. As with any major scam, when the promised results fail to materialize, the charade must persist. The influencers tied to Aron's Project Popcorn were quick to maintain the confidence scheme shortly after the reverse stock split, despite the shorts failing to cover their positions as anticipated.
AMC needed to raise capital. This writer's strike is already pushing movies back. Ape was necessary at the time. We would have been talking bankruptcy. It was needed. It was a good idea.
AMC's management will push for dilution no matter how little they actually need that dilution. And all of these things have come true despite the fact that by telling the truth, we were called massive shills. This is in their own filings. If you go to their SEC filings, they're soon going to have the ability to immediately issue 25 million new shares on the market, which is about 17% of the current float. Doing this at multi-year lows for AMC stock is a big mistake. Big mistake. It's a big slap in the face to all of the investors who held this all the way down as the company went all the way back up.
Give it some time, you guys. I know it doesn't feel like it's right now, but they are throwing every thing they have at it because this is their last attempt before we can start raising capital. Think about it. AMC has had nothing but great news. Hey, they're doing the conversion. They can now properly raise money. A company can now raise money again. That would make the stock price go down. No, that should make it go up.
And if you're somebody that believes, oh, they just want the ability to issue shares, but they won't do it. Okay, well, just look at what happened with Ape. Just look what happened with AMC common stock when they diluted back in 2021 during some of the hottest periods for AMC. Just look at all those periods and ask if they had the ability to dump half the market cap, for example, of AMC stock tomorrow, would they not do that? Come on, don't be stupid.
This is the correct path to take. Every one of all the no voters, if I haven't changed your mind by this, honest to God, I don't think there's anything that's going to. So,
Minnesota resident Brian Reis, known as AMCBiggums, emerged as a prominent anonymous influencer in the AMC ape movement, positioning himself as a stock market savant. He relentlessly urged followers to buy and hold AMC stock, showering CEO Adam Aron with praise for his supposed honesty and trustworthiness. Yet his narrative was a dizzying array of contradictory predictions about events that would ignite a transformative short squeeze. Reis boldly claimed that if the AMC stock split didn't occur, Aron would be forced to sell ape shares at 55 cents. A rock-solid argument he peddled as fact, despite its blatant falsehood. When the split occurred and his hyped-up squeeze, tied to the dubious Project Popcorn scheme, fizzled out, Reis scrambled to spin a new tale. In a chaotic hour-long rant, he clung to Aron's talking points, mocked critics, and offered little substance to his followers. To bolster his position, addition, he compared anyone who didn't heed his advice to mentally challenged children and labeled opponents emotional pussies while simultaneously blocking dissenters and dodging confrontation. He claimed he couldn't stomach corruption, yet ignored the glaring issues within AMC's own leadership. Reis deflected scrutiny by targeting 3 high-profile figures, Matt Kohrs, Doug Sifu, and Mark Kohrs, going as far as to attack Sifu's son in a desperate bid to shift blame. He boasted that these figures feared him, tying his inflated self-worth to the questionable Project Popcorn initiative. He threatened lawsuits against those exposing his role in the scam and, in a reprehensible move, portrayed himself as the sole enlightened guide for his followers. Reis oscillated between admitting uncertainty and making audacious, baseless claims, like the MOAS started on February 16, 2024, which never materialized. His Phase 6 prediction that he said would happen on September 2023 also collapsed spectacularly.
I think we could be honest, and it's filled with people who are popping off with their opinions, whether they're cosplaying as a financial advisor or someone going on and on about Phase 6, who obviously they just need their own mental assistance in life because it's just not a good situation, or overall just these hopium and copium getting pumped down everyone's throats because they don't want to admit that it hasn't gone the way that they very much need it to go. So they would rather, I guess, spin a good story and tell lies than admit the truth.
As he struggled to maintain his influential persona, his diatribe devolved into an immature, incoherent mess of illogical and uninformed statements, too numerous to catalog. For any of Reis's followers and fans capable of critical thought, rationality, common sense, and prudence, his video is a must-watch, a stark display of his phony AMCBiggums alter ego as a stellar embarrassment. Reis's relentless promotion of Project Popcorn reveals a figure complicit in steering retail investors to financial ruin. He repeated his begging the question argument later in the video as if it held any cognitive weight, insisting shareholders must stay in for the long haul. Yet, with many investors' cost averages now painfully high, some as steep as $150 due to Project Popcorn, selling means catastrophic losses, and averaging down is financially out of reach unless they can reinvest the same amount lost, banking on an unlikely price surge. Reis once hyped the high short percentage to lure buyers, but now with Project Popcorn having obliterated that narrative, his true intentions remain obscured. Sounding desperate to deflect any complicity, Reis claimed others feared him, denied being paid for his rhetoric, and contradicted himself by insisting the bigger picture both mattered and didn't. He spun Aron's checkmate tweet as an insult aimed at everyone else and warned that a COVID resurgence would further cripple AMC. At the end of the video, he claimed to have supported protests, alleging the media downplayed the ape movement and misrepresented it during Mike the Marine's protest at the SEC, while conveniently omitting his own attacks on Mike for participating. Viewers are urged to scrutinize Reis's words against today's reality, a reality he claimed to fully grasp, despite this textbook display of hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance. His video stands as a damning emblem of an influencer's implicit guilt, unleashing a tsunami of hyperbolic unease. Also consider the contrast between Reis's response and Zip Trader's well-reasoned, scholarly critique of AMC's leadership regarding their treatment of retail investors. Reis's lack of expertise is evident, coming across as an amateur attempting to project authority, while Zip Trader demonstrates a clear professional perspective.
Zip Trader's video and all these fucking clowns. Zip Trader, oh, AMC, they've been able to suffice the... When ape drops down to 55 cents as he's diluting, and this is my number one argument to the conversion by looking at all my videos. If I'm a short seller right now, why the fuck would I cover when I can sit there and over buy ape now at 45, 55 cents? And then what we're gonna do, instead of having one Antera, you're gonna have 4 or 5. Reality is what I need to focus on and show you guys every day. But you need to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture. The bigger picture. I'm not paid by fucking anyone. And people go, well, because of that, you're paid off. I'm not sitting there looking at you guys saying, I don't make good money. I don't do this shit. But all of this is fucking ad revenue. I get paid from YouTube to fucking educate you guys. I get a couple $100 from Barney, and this is why they're so scared of me. And again, complain about the creation of ape all you fucking want, but without it, we would be
The whole ape situation in the first place was a workaround of shareholders of AMC common stock that did not want any more dilution and looked at the numbers and said, yeah, we don't actually need any more dilution at that time. And at that time, honestly, AMC kind of did need dilution. But now they definitely don't need it. They've been bailed out by the retail shareholder, but it's not enough because it's never enough. It won't be enough until they've taken every single dollar, and the short sellers have become very, very, very rich off the backs of the folks who loyally held this company and bailed it out.
For everybody that listened and bought Ape when it was 80 fucking cents.
Something that we warned about during Ape when that was introduced. We said, make sure you're selling Ape unless you want to bail out the company because you're going to be diluted massively.
But I can only work with reality, guys. My interpretation of when he said checkmate was this. You know how when everybody says, I think, let me make it a little dumber for you, buddy. I think AA meant this when he said checkmate. Because like I said, this is all it is now, is just children. Every word you say, Biggums, I'm going to try and switch it and twist it around. And then I'm going to whine and bitch about it. We have a COVID thing that's about to be released, and our government it's our government. You don't think they're going to help them if they can with the COVID? Fuck yeah. If they can do some bullshit with this new fucking COVID, and this is why I laugh at all these people. We're going to sue you. There's this pathetic fucking group, and I'm talking about the most pathetic things in life. I mean, talk about the lowest forms of fucking humanity. These guys, they hold a space call today, and Matt Kohrs, who said literally on, and I got the video, buddy, so I mean, I can't wait, because I have you in there, and I have you inciting them. See, here's what's going to happen with Discovery with me. This is why I don't care. This is why I keep talking shit, and this is why I will never fucking change. I haven't done anything. I haven't sold anything. I haven't pumped anything. I kept buying it, and when they do the Discovery, guess what? I have nothing to fucking hide. But you know what these guys do? They have space calls. They have all these other people, and they have other people, their little followers, try to go after me. Why don't they go after me themselves? Because they know in Discovery, I'll win, and then I'll sue the living shit out of them for defamation. Matt Kohrs is in here trying to get people who grifted AMC apparently and YouTubers to be investigated. Matt Kohrs, he's such a loser. This dude's trying to get people investigated. The guy who's selling fanny packs, joggers, then tells AMC people they're fucking dumb. Crybaby fucking MySpaces or face calls, whatever you want to call them. Matt Kohrs, let's go after my competition. It's like I said, what a fucking loser, dude. You get on the bus and there's a mentally challenged kid who doesn't know any better. And he says, I'm going to drive off that bus because he doesn't know right from wrong. He's just going to do it. And you're not going to fucking stop him. And you go, all right, I'm going to jump on the bus because I don't think he's going to do it. And I go, dude, that dude's going to do it. I tell you, he's going to do it. The kid goes flying off the fucking off the cliff. And as you're going down, you scream at me, why didn't you stop me? I tried. Here is how stupid these guys are. Look at the court filing. It says that we voted no, but Antera, it was Antera that did the voting and they made it win. But I'm trying to educate them and show, hey, we need this, and you're too much of a fucking emotional pussy to educate yourself and go, there's a bigger picture? Adam Aron's gonna dump all 25 million shares to the hedge funds. Do you know how retarded you sound?
And from the moment that the CEO, Adam Aron, announced an additional dilution of 40 million shares, it's down roughly 50%.
I haven't even been able to look at corruption right fucking here. This dude right here is talking shit about my hair of extra fucking forehead. He's got a big chode, just like his little boyfriend Mark Chode. This dude's got a big chode, so when he slaps that thing right on Dougie Fresh's forehead here, it messes that hair up. Because you've been doing fucking communication between the both of them? Huh? Who would have thought? Piece of shit, Doug. You were a off. Come at me every day, dude. The thing is every time you say something to me, I have no shame. I don't give a fuck. Doug Sifu running from me. If all you got on me is phase 6, which hasn't, I told you guys it would happen the second week of this year in September. I've said that for almost 2.5 years. Phase 6 will take place September of this year fully for the 1-year contracts, and I've said it since day one. Phase 6 hasn't even happened yet, and people are still bitching about it. Okay, well, it's just like the conversion. The conversion happened it hasn't even fully taken place. The settlements are not even out yet, and people, oh, you fucked us. No, what would have fucked us is keep diluting billions and billions of fucking ape shares at 40 fucking cents and making it so shorts never needed to cover, because at any point they could, instead of covering your fucking squeeze, they could just buy a whole bunch of ape shares and can control the vote and move it over that way. That is why he did it. He didn't do it to screw you. You're gonna have to strap in if you want to beat these fucking piles of shit. They have billions. Most of us have thousands. It's going to be a hard thing. I've never changed my mind on that. Never strayed from that. And then you the short thesis, and then the stock price goes back up, and then AA can dilute. Like I said, everybody, oh, we did the conversion, he needs to do it now. We don't know what's going to happen a week from now. You don't know where the floor is going to be. You don't know if it's going to be a 10, 12, 13. Maybe it turns around. You don't know. I can't tell you what. No one can. No one can tell you what's going to happen. This conversion takes place. The short interest percentage is going to drop drastically, but the short value won't change. That doesn't change, and that's what matters. But the FUD's going to say the short value dropped, the play's over, or the short interest dropped, the play's over, but the short value remained the same. And the AMC's price would have been trading at $1 or $2 anyways, with Ape at like 25, 30, 40 cents. That's exactly what would have happened. I can't tell you what. No one can. No one can tell you what's going to happen.
You saw what happened when the conversion was delayed. It boomed massively. And then you saw what happened when it went through. It dropped massively. Without this conversion, you're at $88.
And then the fundamental people would have been screaming, hey, f*** us. And I would have said, well, no, you need to learn your long at AMC. Your number one weapon is education. Do you know that these rich guys are able to steal billions of dollars and hundreds of millions at a time and never go to jail? Tried to do. A, you went on the weekend when the SEC was closed. B, you didn't get educated on the subjects I told you to get fucking educated on. And I said you'd make us look bad, and I told you the media would try and make you look bad, and you did. And that's exactly what happened. I've been honest with you this whole fucking time. I haven't lied to you guys, ever.
A lot of people are excited for this week because the implementation of APE into AMC, combined price, should be somewhere in the 20s and so forth. Opened up this morning. Obviously, there is no APE. Combined into AMC, it's AMC by itself. And right now, the price, I believe, was just over $11, $11.20, somewhere in that range, which equates to, after the reverse stock split, the 10-1, you're looking at $1.20 per share, essentially, okay? You already know, I used to be an Adam Aron supporter, and I'm going to keep beating this horse. I used to be a supporter, and everything that he's done has come, just pretty much been tragic. It's been trash. It's been absolutely disgusting when it comes to the retail investor. Dilution, smart dilution, which is no such thing as smart dilution, but it's just pretty much dilution, right? Because you don't talk about him. He saved AMC. He's a silverback. No, he's actually a backstabber, okay? I believe in him at one point, but everything he's done over the last year, especially the implementation of APE, this thing's been a disaster. It's been a tragedy from the beginning. He's done nothing but help his friends. He's done nothing but save his buddies. Nothing for retail investor. Absolutely zero. A big ass zero for the retail investor, okay? The retail investor, we were never wrong, ever. We were never wrong. We were right from the very beginning, and we're continuing to be right. But again, when you have somebody on the inside doesn't want to lead us to the promised land, he's doing everything they can in order for us not to get there. And this is Adam Aron. Adam Aron was put into AMC to actually run into the ground. He may not be actually buying puts or shorting the stock when it comes to AMC, but he's running the company into the ground and he's getting paid for it. That's essentially shorting AMC. He's shorting you. He shorted me. He's shorting the retail investor. Adam Aron is shorting AMC through his paycheck, through his compensation, through his bonuses. But when something is this tragic, this blatant, and it's stealing from the hardworking men and women of this country, it's absolutely disgusting. And I'm gonna talk about it, whether it's AMC or any other stock. I'm here for the retail investor first and foremost.
Did the shorts cover? Nope. What are we talking about? So,
shorts will never cover. It's nice to hear. It's nice to think of. I know they may be up 99, 98, 97% in their short positions, but they're never going to cover. Let me tell you why. The reason why shorts aren't going to cover is simply because they do not want to pay the taxes. They don't want to pay anything. It's easier for them to keep shorting to oblivion and keep shorting and shorting and shorting, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down, and just having so many, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 10-fold. I don't care what you want to call it. They keep doing that because it's better for them, because if AMC claims BK goes bankrupt, they don't have to pay taxes on nothing. They can keep 100% of the profits. Remember, these are some greedy ass people. They want not only a little bit, they want everything. God bless, much love. Peace.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about right now is the short interest on AMC.
How they getting these shares? It's impossible. They close the bar. It's because the system is rigged. There's only a certain amount of shares that could be lent out. Where are they getting these shares?
As AMC's stock cratered, Thomas Smallbone branded retail investors angling for a board seat as infiltrators, accusing them of plotting to sneak in a dissenting voice he fought to smother. With Project Popcorn genuinely wreaking havoc on millions of lives, Smallbone still painted lawsuit filers as vultures out to bankrupt AMC. But despite his frantic spins and grandstanding, he couldn't conjure a shred of evidence to prop up his implausible claims.
Easiest way to change the decision making at AMC and force the company into bankruptcy if they can't get rid of Adam Aron and replace him with an infiltrator is to get rid of some of the board of directors.
As the dust settled after the split, the passage of time unveiled a bitter truth. The influencers, once so cocksure, morphed into frantic peddlers of delusion. They spun wild, laughable tales to paint Adam Aron as the champion of retail investors, twisting logic into knots to justify AMC's brazen theft from those very same investors as some warped victory.
And I think this is why over the last few days we've seen a bunch of tweets from influencers asking their followers to appoint them to AMC's board of directors. Stock and Crypto Plays asking to nominate and elect AMC retail investor Jason to AMC's board of directors. And we've now also seen Al from Boston tweeting asking if he ran for an AMC board seat, would you vote him in? Different videos on top of that asking if we should put an ape on the AMC board.
Smallbone's video remains relevant post-split because he addresses several key points. The AMC ape movement initially formed to fight Wall Street and short sellers. It has since evolved into a group that strictly follows the AMC board of directors' wishes. The group now unwaveringly supports Adam Aron.
I've been listening to Twitter space calls that are clearly in support of AMC and clearly against AMC. But the saddest part was how so many people were saying, yes, we are open for conversation. We are the retail community and we love to learn. That's what this is all about. I heard a lot of discussion about, hey, we're helping each other out. And then yet they were saying you can only come up and speak if you already agreed that both AMC and Adam Aron are awesome and they're not doing anything wrong. So I've been involved with this from the start, and the changes that it's gone through, it blows my mind. It truly, truly blows my mind of how we could even have potentially gotten here. And my main question that I would love for anyone to answer is why to support the retail movement? Why to support the fight for market transparency and fairness do we have to specifically support AMC? And even on top of that, why do we have to specifically support Adam Aron? But all of a sudden, there's a cohort of people on the internet who believe that the only way you could support retail is by saying you absolutely love AMC and everything about it is perfect. And then essentially Adam Aron, the CEO, is some sort of financial messiah. And all of a sudden, when you realize that the retail group is having so much infighting, well, who wins in that deal? Well, it's obviously Wall Street, the group we all set out to kind of course correct. To begin, well, they're loving it because no one's focusing on them anymore.
Clearly, these people are trying to coordinate their efforts together to put an infiltrator into the board of directors of AMC. While I do think putting an ape on the board of directors could potentially be a good idea, we have to be very, very careful on who exactly we appoint, as we know there's so many infiltrators in the AMC space already.
Any lawsuits is labeled as coming from shorts or shills. These suits are not seen by Adam Aron's influencers as coming from investors harmed by Project Popcorn. Smallbone states,
are probably not the kind of people we want on the AMC board of directors.
Smallbone then suggests a true retail investor might oppose AMC's decisions. This is expected. After Project Popcorn, why would they not resist?
AMC will not become more profitable because these individuals will try and do everything they possibly can to vote against AMC's decisions, effectively stonewalling the company and causing it to lose more and more money instead of becoming more and more profitable.
Few of Aron's supporters, like Smallbone, verified their share ownership. This raises the likelihood that they could be the infiltrators. In contrast, those advocating for retail investors and proving their AMC share ownership are not the infiltrators. They are legitimate AMC owners.
I really do think this is the shorts and the shills plan.
The remaining baseless hypotheticals lack evidence and speak for themselves.
They know that retail investors aren't selling. They know they can't close because AMC is still on that threshold securities list, incurring tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of FTDs every single day, and they know that AMC is just becoming more profitable. Therefore, the only way they can win is to force AMC into bankruptcy by infiltrating the board of directors to halt that decision-making process. Cheers.
Timothy Seymour of Seymour Asset Management broke ranks in the legacy media, boldly exposing Adam Aron's shameless robbery of retail investors, his revulsion practically crackling as he torched Aron's multi-year betrayal.
She could be keeping theaters in business.
By the way, note how AMC didn't rally through the roof on this as it should have. And that's because they've been too busy jamming their investors and diluting them and doing reverse share splits. And, the stock's gone from 44 to 12 in the last 3 weeks. How's that taste? There's not enough time to talk about what's gone on there, so I won't.
Multi-year low.
Multi-year low.
At the height of Project Popcorn and AMC's stock buying frenzy, Pantheon, anonymous guest of Anthony Franzetti.
Right now?
Yeah, whenever you want me, I'm good to go.
Piling in, or was it?
And Marcel Kalinovic.
You're a movie fan, so kind of like the movie.
Cheered loudly. Post-split, he reappeared to rally retail investors who'd lost 90% of their stakes.
It's good to be on. It's been a while. Felt it was time to jump on, have a little talk.
Pantheon wielded positivity to deflect blame, framing critics as negative while posing as the optimist to rebuild trust.
Let's have some motherfucking positivity. That's what I'm going to go for tonight.
His tough on the issue, not the person line was an emotional dodge, shielding his complicit peers while hoping fans missed the deceit.
So, when is the MOAS? Well, the MOAS happens to be tomorrow according to this very scientific chart. Now, did the MOAS happen when tomorrow comes? If the answer is yes, collect your tendies. If not, then the MOAS is tomorrow.
He cited cases of market manipulation but ignored AMC's role, instead attacking no voters for drama and pushing people to sell, overlooking their justified fury at being duped by AMC's CEO. Most investors bled dry, had little left to sell.
Down 64% in 1 week. 64%. Now you can look at all the indicators you need. Retail's not selling. Despite the few voices you're going to hear on YouTube and Twitter that are claiming the end of the world and everybody's sold, they don't know what they're talking about. They're there for a specific reason, to cause drama, create uncertainty, and f people over. 64% of the market cap, and we'll talk about market cap in a minute, in 1 week on no bad news. We know what's going on. We know what's going on stuff, but story hasn't changed as much as some people may want to suggest that it has. And if they want to, so be it. That's their choice. That's their option. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I don't have a problem with that for me. And I don't tell anybody what to do with their money. I don't tell anybody what to do with their finances. That's all your decisions. But in my opinion, for me, the story has not changed. The shorts have not covered or closed their positions.
As dissent against Adam Aron and his narrative surged, Pantheon leaned on empty, arrogant boasts, typical of Project Popcorn influencers, delivering nothing. He soon faded, dodging accountability for leading many to ruin.
Now, I've been seeing a lot of fear and uncertainty in our community lately. Most of it pushed by those voices that only want to generate drama and views for their YouTube channels. Don't fall for the sky is falling narrative for those who are over-leveraged and lash out to blame anyone but themselves. And I can tell you, those people are not in my chat tonight. I can tell you that. I've been looking through the chat. They're not here. These are good apes in our chat tonight. This chat is full of absolutely awesome apes. I've been watching it as it goes through. I know who's in here tonight. Everybody's welcome. You're all welcome here.
There's a tweet, and I think this is a very good tweet because I know a lot of people have the price expected for AMC to be something totally different than what it is. It's under $13 right now, which equates to a lot of retail investors about $1.30, okay? It's not a good thing. People are upset. Their accounts are being demolished. Shout out to Song Trap House over there on Twitter. He pretty much said this. He says, AMC boards getting vested millions of free shares the same week that shareholders lose about 90% of their shares. Now, it's my opinion that Adam Aron's not going to pay any debt. If he does, it's going to be very minimal, and he's going to keep getting sweet deals to his friends, his hedge fund buddies, to the Antares out there, to the Mudricks out there, to everybody except retail, okay? Everybody that's held on AMC, that's done tremendous things for the movement, for the company, and the only thing you got was a big stab in the back, a big middle finger, and a big F you. And you're being played by Adam Aron.
On September the 1st, Brian Reis intensified his manipulation of retail investors, dispensing financial advice designed to mislead. He urged the public to ignore the stock's price fluctuations and the underlying criminal activities, diverting attention away from the illicit schemes at play. On the 3rd of September, Anthony Franzetti's post claimed the moral high ground, asserting his AMC coverage was driven by virtue, not his positions promoted in numerous live streams or his years of pumping the stock. Through the Project Popcorn misinformation campaign, Franzetti supported Adam Aron's monumental crime spree, using schoolyard banter to call critics haters. His inauthentic post after the reverse split starkly contrasted Aron's historic theft of his retail shareholder base. September the 3rd brought one of Pantheon's videos still accessible at the time, post-split. It contained an infomercial for AMC's collaboration with Taylor Swift and her Eras tour. Then a chide at people intolerantly waiting for something he and his fellow supporters of Aron have been pumping for 3 years. The impatience is, of course, the fault of the investor that was stripped of most of their shares for the magical event.
The people that panic themselves over when this is going to happen are the people that don't quite understand what it is they hold and how this is playing out.
Shorts are
They can't exit these positions. If they could, they would have. Anyone who's going to argue that with, why wouldn't they have done that by now? Well, they failed to bankrupt AMC.
And according to him, Adam Aron could not have helped hedge funds, mainly because
Adam Aron's fixing it with them. Guys, it doesn't work that way.
After professing his moderate view on Aron, his position is in unadulterated contrast to a tweet where he specifically states, "Believe in AA." A fairly definitive comment.
Look, I'm not an Adam Aron lover. I'm not. The man consistently has not sold a huge amount of shares at a time, so that we can rely on, but he's sold them at crappy prices, which I'm not happy with. I'm not an apologist for him. I'm not a lover of his. I'm just going to say it as I see it. Call it as I see it.
Apparently, discontent over Project Popcorn are for the people that do not understand what shares they hold, not what they have left from those that Aron did not take. If there is one common obviousness shared by Aron's influencers, is that their time spent on YouTube and X is not influencing anyone, and that these are just their opinions, though they make it clear that they are smart enough to know what they are saying is certain, attempting to have reality both ways.
This is very much still in play, and that's an easy little out for people that don't understand what they hold, and they don't understand what's happening and what's coming. They don't get it. I'm sorry, guys, I feel for you. I do. And one day you can understand. But the story is not changed. The shorts have not covered or closed their positions. They haven't. They got us down to $1 before the split. A freaking $1. They didn't close their positions. They can't. We're not selling. No matter what they tell you, we're not selling. The stats show it, man.
For those angry with him, Pantheon decided it was because of his alleged purchase of ownership in AMC, and not because he and his cohorts have been promoting and pumping the stock, aiding Adam Aron through Project Popcorn and becoming upset in the process, discounting the fact that maybe people would like to know why he and his friends continued to speak as influencers in the role of unlicensed financial experts when they were not, and why they misled many to fall for Aron's Project Popcorn.
And for me, I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for anybody else, nor would I ever want to. But I haven't come this far to only come this far. I'd like to think I'm a pretty smart guy. And quite frankly, I hold AMC because for some reason, it pisses other people off. Never in my life have I held a stock that other people just so desperately want to hate me for holding. Nobody cares about your money until it affects their money. or they're easily swayed. And we've got some weak-minded people in the community who've fallen for that. And they'll come around, they'll see. And when we finally have our day, oh, they'll FOMO in, no question. Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. I cut out the FUD. I don't even know what these other people are even talking about till people bring me questions about it. The variety of places they can find me. A couple of really good Discords and a few other places. People in my personal life. You know, I'll answer questions to people that ask me. I'll be truthful. I'm not providing financial advice. I will never tell anybody to buy or sell anything. That's going to be up to you guys. But, you know, I'm surrounding myself with people on the same mission as me. That's how I roll. And it's not that I'm in an echo chamber. It's not true. I'm not in an echo chamber. I understand what I'm looking at. I understand what's going on. I do. And I'm sorry for those that don't. But with that said, we're all going to see in time. All right, folks. And I know that one day I'm going to thank myself for never giving up. People that flip-flop every single time something goes up or goes down, well, it's leader, get out of the fucking way.
Pantheon, bloated with unearned confidence like his peers, stifled any critique of AMC's grim state during his live stream. His inflated ego and empty bluster hid a harsh truth. He lacked the courage and leadership to confront reality. In the end, he took his own advice and slipped away, revealing not a hint of fearlessness, just hollow words from a timid influencer.
Gotta address some things. Apparently out in the YouTube world are saying that I was hired by a private equity firm to destroy the play, AMC. I know YouTube is full of a lot of really dumb motherfuckers. They hired me to do exactly what? I was the one that warned everybody about Ape. I said, this is gonna wind up in a courtroom. And I started saying that Ape was this weird, look at what's going on right now. People can't even find their settlement shares for Ape. You know, you have people out there that actually had interactions with the CEO. For people to say that I was hired by a private, or a firm, remember when they used to say I worked for Morgan?
Sugar Kush's September 4th, 2023 X-Post ignited a firestorm among AMC influencers, sparking a meltdown of rancid pandemonium. They scrambled to twist the post's meaning, regurgitating it as a bizarre attack on retail investors in a tired, juvenile gaslighting spree. Their replies dripped with guilt-soaked exaggeration, desperately hoping fans would gulp down their absurd drivel. Each word betrayed their panic. Terrified the jig was up on their 3-year con. Using AMC as their pawn, they siphoned time, cash, and trust from genuine investors, all to rig markets for AMC's benefit or to cash in on Project Popcorn, with zero regard for the wreckage left behind. Part of the post said,
"But if you misled retail and grifted off the backs of retail, then you have the right to be worried because prison is not for everyone. Now carry on and sit tight when we will find out soon enough how many of you got paid to screw retail." If you've seen Thomas James's video earlier.
Now, I have kept Thomas James' name off the table for a long time. But Thomas James, you just made a video and you're calling out a lot of particular people, but you're not looking in the mirror yourself.
Today, I want to explain why the shorts are threatening retail investors. They started by begging you to sell. Then they tried creating FUD about AMC going bankrupt to scare you into selling. And now they're trying to threaten you into selling, threatening you with lawsuits, with prison time, or even worse.
Thomas James, convince us why you think people are threatening investors. They're not threatening investors, dude. They're threatening the grifters. Read the text again. It literally says right here, grifters are all riled up after the call today. Good if you're not guilty, and then you won't have anything to worry about. And he's talking about grifters, as in people who make videos for clicks and views.
Now, I want to point out two things with this tweet. The first is this tweet is obviously designed to threaten you as a retail investor, basically saying if you remain as part of this AMC movement, you could potentially face prison time.
Pumper, they're not threatening you. They're threatening you. They're not threatening investors. They're threatening you. Grifter.
I want to assure all of you watching this video that none of you will face prison time just for holding shares of AMC.
That's not what he's saying. Can you believe this fucking guy? I can't, and I have to cuss only because I'm so upset. He's saying that the grifters like you, Thomas James, all these YouTubers, all these Twitter guys, who pump stocks, we'll find out who they are. You included. We'll find out who you really are.
Now, he also speaks about finding out how many of you were paid to screw other investors, which is ironic because as far as I'm aware, it's only this group of shills that were paid by short sellers like Mark Kohrs to post negative sentiment about AMC. As far as I'm aware, there's no investors that support Adam Aron, be it influencers, YouTubers, or anyone else that was paid by Adam Aron and AMC to post positive things about the company. Obviously, I receive advertising revenue from YouTube and sign-up fees from Mumu, but have never received a dime from hedge funds, from Adam Aron, from short sellers, from AMC, or from anyone else for that matter.
But let's see that you've never been paid off. Is this you? Over 1 million views, easy. 1.3 million views you've deleted, and you think you have growth. You think you're a real channel. 42,000 subscribers, and this month alone, you have 80,000 views. 80,000 views on 41,000 subscribers, 42,000 subscribers. You think that your channel is growing, yet they're deleting. You never passed 42,000 subs, by the way. It's like you bought the amount of subs right here in the peak of it all. You bought all the subs you were going to get when you started your channel, sure. You bought them here, and then they've been deleting the whole way through, flat. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on here. What is really going on with your channel? Why is it that in the month of August, you only had 128,000 views, yet you have 40,000 subs, and you post all the time? Tony De Niro, same thing. 21,000 subscribers, right? Views this month, 62,000. What do you think's happening? What do you think is real? Oh, you want to know why? Oh, why are we losing hundreds of subscribers? Why are we losing 300 subscribers in a 1 week span? Why are people leaving? You never broke 21,000? You're just always at 21,000, Tony. Every damn day of the week I look at it. Oh, because you bought subs and now they're deleting them out of you. Bought the views, deleting them out of you. Oh no, it's not real. They're all the same. These grifters are all the same. Thomas James is no different. This guy's been deleting video after video after video. You tell me, Thomas James, that you're posting videos for 42,000 subscribers and you're making $300 a month max. That's what you're making. No one's bought you off. No one's paying you off. But I don't think people really watch. I don't think this guy has nearly as many viewers as you think he does.
I don't have nothing to worry about because I didn't do anything but just buy a fucking ticker. This motherfucker tags me into this fucking tweet thread. And when they're like, FTDs go bye-bye, and then the FTDs never went bye-bye. They're still on the threshold list.
We'll let Investopedia explain it. Actually, a threshold list is a list of securities whose transactions failed to settle for 5 consecutive settlement days.
So all these people are doing is just basically trying to get you out to play. Yeah, Sugar Kush, aka Apu. Yeah, spread the word. That's his name. That's your new name.
As Sal tweeted, he said, I think it's hilarious that people like Amy, Gungal NYC, Mark Kohrs, and their merry band of shorts are attempting to manipulate people into investigating influencers.
I'll tell you what, all these dudes right here talk shit to me back in the day. All these guys right here, and I know them all. And I know KC Shaw, and I know PG, and I know PK Lance, all of them, Salvatore, everybody out there. Shills, punks, pumpers, yourself included. Are you the gatekeeper for all of them? Did you read all their tweets? I mean, what is going on here? You speak for everybody? I've been in the damn Spaces call with PG. PG_5 telling everybody, buy and hold, we're going to the moon. This new ape thing's gonna Trump, it's gonna pounce everybody. I was there. I saw all these guys. Then tell me, Mr. Unpaid, why you deleted 1.1 million views, 1.3 million views of your fucking video. Tell me that, Thomas James, and then I'll sit there and say you've never taken $1, that you have nothing to worry about.
It's because of how scared they really are.
Oh, yeah.
You can also currently get a guaranteed free share of Tesla or of Google and up to 15 free shares on top of that.
And you're the paid shill, and you must be paid by somebody because it's not YouTube. For you personally, you're making $300 a month, allegedly, just off of views, but that's why you're here every day. I want to know what the hell you're doing. Who's paying? Who pays you? I turned them down 5 times. Should I call them back? You guys know what Connect the Dots is?
Last night I was made aware of a major violation of privacy.
You're an accountant for RSM. and you have been for almost a decade, RSM leadership would be meeting with BDO Partners and Apollo. Well, RSM is an accounting firm, one of the top 5 in America, or in the whole world, I should tell you that. He's a partner and financial service professional for RSM Chicago office. Huge firm, right? This guy worked for RSM for 7 years, okay? And he was an asset audit manager, 7.5 years, this guy. His name is Thomas Smallbone. Maybe you guys know him as Thomas James, and I know it's right here. Thomas J. Smallbone, right here, YouTube, was an actual auditor who's done deals with Apollo before and previously. He worked there for almost 8 years. I'm sure your career was going great, but you had to go this route, right? You had to go this route to pump out the information, just like your other guy, Jason, writing headlines. You're doing YouTube videos, right, Thomas James Smallbone? You've never made one accounting video. You've never done one video on the balance sheet that is AMC and the failed investment that it is for everyone. All you've ever done is pump a stock based off of misinformation and the MOAS narrative that these YouTubers are paid people. You make about $300 a month based off of your YouTube analytics. You don't do it. That's not why you're here. You're pumping out misinformation on purpose. Show me you still work. Because right there you said on your damn LinkedIn that you left it 3 years ago. What'd you leave it for 3 years ago? To start pumping out misinformation on YouTube? Because you're doing a damn good job of that. Thomas James, let me know when you want to do some math together. You're invited to my live stream anytime. I've never seen you do a live stream. That's how I know you're a punk.
Marantz Rantz unveiled Thomas Smallbone's identity using publicly accessible data, freely available to anyone who bothered to look. Smallbone permitted this information to be openly obtainable, yet seized Marantz's findings as a pretext for launching multiple retaliatory strikes. In classic dubious influencer style, evident across his video catalog, Smallbone turned the tables, accusing Marantz of engaging in unlawful activity when the research was entirely above board. He pointed to Marantz's probe as the cause for influencers halting their AMC content creation after the stock's collapse, despite their earlier predictions or instructions to promote a contrary outcome. In truth, their agenda was fulfilled. They had effectively supported short positions in the scheme dubbed Project Popcorn.
I think it's for reasons like this that many AMC YouTubers stopped making videos in the space. I need some help from you guys.
Smallbone escalated matters by rallying his followers to attack Marantz's channel and demand its removal for conducting perfectly legal research, clearly a reaction to being exposed for orchestrating AMC's market manipulation.
We'll head over to his YouTube channel, Marantz Rants, and report his YouTube channel and his recent videos unveiling my personal information, schools and colleges for violating privacy laws. That would be much appreciated.
In a stunning revelation about his channel's purpose, Smallbone admits to suppressing view counts, but his justifications for his actions exploits the audience's tendency towards shallow reasoning, catering to a public preoccupied with fleeting attention spans and consuming information hastily without thorough scrutiny. Smallbone capitalized on certain viewers' inability to swiftly dissect his counter-arguments. His rationale for scrubbing views hinged on being overly emotionally invested in AMC, leading to disseminating misleading information. As this documentary is being filmed, glaring inconsistencies in his recent videos suggest it's routine for him to share inaccurate details and let emotions cloud his content.
I have indeed deleted views in the past, but there's a very important reason why I did that. So obviously what my channel is for collecting and collating due diligence and simplifying it in an easy to understand way. As part of making videos on YouTube and not giving financial advice, you obviously can't say with 100% guaranteed confidence a specific stock is going to hit a certain price on a certain day. In my videos, I try and remain emotionally detached and just present the facts. I present that due diligence, I present that information, I present those news articles, and I give my thoughts on them. So what I do on a regular basis is review my previous videos for when I've been too emotionally attached to AMC. Sometimes instead of saying this is one potential catalyst that could cause something to happen, I say that this is 100% guaranteed to happen, which isn't fair and it's not right.
His explanation for amassing a large subscriber base devolved into a petty rivalry over followers follower counts, dodging the question of whether he purchased the subscribers. Smallbone maintains they are loyal fans, but loyalty doesn't negate the possibility that they were bought. Claiming dedication fails to clear him of potential payment for followers.
She have a significantly more dedicated real fan base than he does, proven by facts. So if you look at me, Thomas James Investing, I've got 40,000 subs and I average 10 to 20, maybe 10 to 30,000 views per video. With Marantz, he's got 8.5 thousand subscribers, and if you look at these videos, they get 500 to 1,000 views a video. So that means even on the top end, he's only got 1/8 of his entire subscriber basis actually watching his video. So it's quite funny and ironic that he suggests I've bought subscribers when actually my subscribers are more dedicated than his.
Smallbone's stated purpose for his YouTube presence, like other influencers, was to deliver truthful insights, prompting him to abandon his accounting career. Revenue from his channel now sustains a comfortable income, giving him every motive to churn out content that remains popular, even if it sacrifices accuracy on the deceptive digital landscape shaped by Project Popcorn.
Back in the day, I used to be a full-time accountant. Any money I earned on the side from YouTube went directly into buying more AMC shares. Over time, I decided to focus more on AMC so I could bring you more higher quality information. As a result, I quit my old job as an accountant to focus on YouTube full-time.
Brazenly, he repeatedly admits that once his personal expenses are covered, he inflates AMC's stock value.
So that means the money I earn from YouTube goes towards paying my rent, it pays for my food bills, it pays for my car, it pays for everything else that I have. And if I've got any money spare at the end of the month, it goes on more AMC shares. Now Marantz's estimates of $300 per month for my YouTube is, well, it's way off. I earn more than that, but as I said, this money pays for my rent, it pays for my property, it pays for my car, it pays for my food bills, and any spare money I have on the side goes towards buying shares.
Evidently, his proclaimed mission to empower retail investors in AMC wasn't a priority, as his channel's updates have dwindled significantly. What was once a full-time endeavor has shrunk to a skeletal, perhaps part-time operation since the completion of the Project Popcorn campaign.
And I've never worked for RSM in the USA. I work in the UK because I live in the UK.
In his closing remarks, Smallbone hopes the physical distance between the UK and the US, coupled with his former low-level role at RSM, will sever any ties to RSM, Apollo, or any third party, compensating him to bolster short sellers in Project Popcorn. Yet, in today's digital era, geography is irrelevant and financial transactions flow effortlessly through countless online platforms. In his fervent attempt to discredit Moran's claims, Smallbone strained to paint a plausible scenario as implausible. Still, it remains entirely feasible that he manipulated AMC shares, funneled profits through his YouTube channel and other avenues, and was paid by a third party to do so, rendering his role in Project Popcorn a profitable deception.
It also talks about the senior leadership team or senior leadership members, of which I was never anywhere close to senior leadership. I was an assistant manager, nowhere near to the senior leadership team. This article is also talking about private equity, and as a shock, I never worked in the private equity department. So I'm in a different office, in a different country, in a different role, and I have no connection whatsoever to Apollo. I think somebody even 5 years old or younger has more intellect than Marantz Rantz. Usually I wouldn't address a shill making ridiculous comments, but it's just unfair that he's revealing my personal information and the schools and colleges that I went to.
Thomas James, I had no idea that you had me in your video right here. And you're talking about short sellers, and you keep saying I'm an influencer and a shorter and a shill. I mean, that's what you're putting right there when they read it, right? Meanwhile, Marantz has proven me right that he's jealous of AMC and the popularity it's been getting. No one's jealous. Do you even understand that the popularity is not even real? Shills and bots is not it. You're all being lied to. This guy right here, you know, I said I wasn't going to attack you personally, kid, but Thomas James, look around you. You're pumping a failed stock, a failed investment, but that's what you were paid to do. Why'd you delete 1.3 million views on your channel? Why are you deleting videos? What are you trying to hide? What message are you trying to hide from the so-called 43,000 subs that you've had the whole time? I think I'm right. I think you bought your initial subscriber count, and I think that you're stuck with it. And you're the paid shill, and you must be paid by somebody because it's not YouTube. You're a fake and a fraud. Keep pumping out this stock, but you know what that text was? And I don't even like Sugar Kush. I know who he is, and I don't care for him either. But he's right. All you grifters better hide. All you grifters better run. And you know who you are because I already named all of you. Punks. You, Thomas James, you're a punk.
On the 6th of September, Stocks and Crypto Plays exposed the stark reality of Adam Aron's betrayal, detailing how his theft from retail investors contributed to the collapse of his own company's value.
Here we go. Popcorn just put in the paperwork for up to 40 million new AMC shares. I anticipate AMC pricing to drop down to like $2 to $3.
After facing constant misrepresentation and marginalization by AMC's board of directors, certain influencers, anonymous social media accounts, and the Delaware Chancery Court's approval of the heist of the century, dedicated AMC investors devised a strategy to secure an accurate share count. They launched a website, AMC Project Popcorn, offering legitimate shareholders a legal means to ensure their ownership matters long term. The initiative invites shareholders to complete a non-invasive, legally notarized affidavit documenting their state and county of residence, the date they purchased their shares, the duration of their shareholding, their voting preference on the reverse stock split, and whether they held their shares through the Chancery Court's ruling that made the illegal legal with Project Popcorn. Aron primarily communicated with shareholders via Twitter X, which became a battleground between genuine shareholders and those claiming ownership. The April 2021 announcement of a vote for 500 additional common stock shares began the deepening divisions within the community. A clear pattern emerged. Initiatives that could benefit retail investors, such as exposing short positions or supporting their investments, were consistently targeted by the same individuals, many of whom are extensively profiled in this series. These individuals fought against retail every step of the way on Aron's behalf, mimicking a paid social media campaign to hinder progress on efforts like a share count, lawsuits, the reverse stock split vote, and the approval of Project Popcorn at the Chancery Court. Retail advocates faced relentless attacks for questioning Aron's leadership. Despite Project Popcorn's success, which significantly harmed investors, a new campaign emerged to block retail investors conducting their own share count and seek justice for the actions of AMC's board and the hedge funds that aggressively undermined their investment. One of the accounts, Straight Jacket Man, tagged the disturbed Corey Amex to find the addresses of shareholders supporting the newly launched share count and asking another, at Walt Darth, to start a GoFundMe for the medical bills to help pay for any investor they were going to physically harm. Another, Mr. Fifth at K5 Sizzle, explicitly provided a death threat for anyone involved with the share count, including the makers of this documentary series. Phil For Real was one of the first AMC-affiliated influencers to challenge the AMC Project Popcorn retail share count movement. He alleged that legitimate retail shareholders were short-selling AMC, a claim rooted in his consistently questionable reasoning and lack of research expertise. Phil asserted that investors supporting the share count were attempting to uncover their positions in AMC, yet he and other prominent yes voters and influencers failed to substantiate this. He further claimed that these retail investors were pressuring others to sell their shares, a charge most could not prove and which only hindered retail's progress. Ultimately, Phil's post appeared to parrot talking points designed to sow fear, uncertainty, and doubt, discouraging participation in the share count, and suggesting that he and others likely held no real stake in AMC. Phil ended the post by ensuring retail was not heard, silencing them from reaching other investors through him that were affected by the damage he helped cause. The AMC influencers' flawed narrative of shorts covering and the irrational market claims continued to fall apart. Phil For Real, aka Phillip Pitts, swiftly shifted from being the aggressor to claiming victimhood amid selective harassment following the reverse split.
A faceless person that is harassing Biggums, Peter Hahn, and me on Twitter, and they're claiming we were warned many times, but chose to mislead thousands upon thousands of retail shareholders through a monetized YouTube financial advice channel. They willfully and repeatedly pumped a false $30 to $50 ape arbitrage for personal gain. See that word arbitrage? That's not why I got into AMC or ape. The moment that I see my name and I see your name, I'm going to know who you are. We're noticing the short sellers are creating these fake bot accounts. Probably this is one of them. Albatross. I mean, your name is Albatross, which is close to arbitrage. Interesting.
I'm watching my favorite streamer, Phil For Real. It doesn't get much better than this. How good of a rapper he really is. So I'm excited right now.
Yeah. Phase 6 is a shit. Yeah. CBDC, CNBC, all they do is want to talk about me and my crew. CBDCs, WSJ, wicked shit.
Oh, here comes the investment advice.
If this thing goes to zero, just know this. You're not the only one that held it to zero. If you couldn't hold it to zero, you had to get out, good for you. Understood. The rest of us, we holding.
Who is holding?
And if we're going to get greedy, if you want to keep flooding the market with synthetics, sure, we'll just keep getting more and then more and then more. And then by the time when it comes to actually dig out the shit and start wiping the crust off your ass, yeah, that the shit that was like.
I pray you don't wipe your ass like you rap. Obviously, you wipe your ass like you invest. MC do dirty, right? You got MC ass dirty. This is gross. And yes, people are gonna lose all their money if they keep listening to you. I don't know why people even watch this shit. This is absolutely crazy.
It was last year, beginning of this year, where Popcorn put out a tweet against the people that were saying that AMC was going to go into bankrupt, and he was like, back to you for the ones that thought AMC was going to be bankrupted. Then a couple of months later, he's putting out messages that we're going to go into bankruptcy if we don't get this reverse split. He was like, if we don't get this liquidity, we might face future bankruptcy.
The CEO then goes and brags on Twitter all the time about how great AMC is doing, and then stresses that somehow they're heading for bankruptcy at any point and they have to be able to dilute massively.
What gate in the hell opened up that you walked out of and came to this country? Back away, fat demon. You have a CEO that says we're not going into bankruptcy. Then he says we are going into bankruptcy. Like, for real, that don't even make any sense. Bankruptcy? What bankruptcy? Who's running out of money? Us?
And I'm going to explain what Phil, dumbass For Real, is saying. This is absolutely ignorance 101. I don't even know why I watch this shit.
Where did Adam Aron touch your share price, sir? Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear about that, sir. Where did he touch you?
Before Phillip Pitts sank to threatening an AMC investor at the University of Arizona for exposing his role in the Project Popcorn scheme, he disgustingly mocked child sexual assault, twisting a phrase used to identify predators into a cruel taunt against AMC shareholders gutted by financial losses. Pitts brags about thorough research on his YouTube channel, but it's a laughable front for immature deflections and blatant lies. He attempts to prop up Adam Aron's reliability and integrity collapse into empty-headed babble, revealing a guy who's clueless about his own ignorance, leaning hard on Brian Reis's warped distortions to carry his channel's message. Before the AMC stock split, Pitts was a loudmouth after he mostly ditched YouTube, yet still holds a bizarrely loyal following on the X platform, which is now a cesspool of hollow, meaningless rhetoric. There, talentless wannabes like Pitts, who never earned fame through real skill or hard work, bask in fake clout, fueled by a Western culture swapping true intellectualism for shallow folly.
Biggest inflation in 40 years. So, in 2023, companies will grant large % salary raises. But I do not want more when our shareholders are hurting. So I recommended to the AMC board to red circle and freeze, keyword, freeze, both my my target cash and target stock pay for 2023. No increase. And that's to those who, get on here, making up stories, making up stuff. You know what they do. They love saying that, oh, Adam Aron sold his shares. He's selling. He's doing this. He's doing that. I'm so angry.
He's getting over 20 million. And he gets up on his pedestal and he says to everyone, you know what? Just because I understand people are happy, are not happy, I'm going to do the right thing and not increase my pay. Bro, you're already getting $20 million.
Highest paid public company executive. And Popcorn is number one.
And you think you're, being a good moral person by saying, you know what? You don't have to increase my pay. Are you kidding me? The fact that this guy is okay taking his paychecks when the company was already going to shit.
What are you looking at?
This is before the apes were involved. This is just purely AMC trading in the market before the Rona period hit, before apes were involved. This is how the company performed. And if you ask me, before any of us were involved, except the current board was involved, it already was not looking good. So to me, this is a piece of evidence that suggests these board members, I don't think that they are solid directors. Like, this is all, it's so ridiculous. And the dude thinks he deserves $20+ million. That's insane. Imagine getting that much money to not be good at your job. Absolutely blows my mind.
He is a legend that he feels our pain because he is the largest AMC shareholder, okay? He tries to compare himself to retail investors. He is gaslighting us. He is showing us that he has no respect for our intelligence. Because if he thought we were somewhat intelligent, if he did not think we were dumb money, he would not put out a statement like this on Twitter or X. Adam Aron is not like us. Adam Aron does not feel our pain. Adam Aron makes over $25 million running AMC into the ground to help his naked shorter buddies, in my opinion. Adam Aron has not bought one single share of AMC. These are shares that are given to him for free.
Here's some CEOs you can be mad at. I am Phil for real. I'm just simply stating my opinion as a music producer. It is what it is. Some people refuse to see evidence. Yeah, that's right. They're holding their shares. They're not selling their shares like many of you have claimed. He made money off the backs of retail. Where is the money? I'm quite confused. Where did Adam Aron touch your share price, sir? And I'm not a financial advisor.
A lot of people are frustrated. Because when you try to give people accurate information that they could see for themselves, they put their emotions in it first. Can you please stop putting your emotions out there first and put out some due diligence? Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Huh? I just want to put this out there. He's never made a video of due diligence whatsoever. It's all emotion. This guy just copied everything AMCBiggums said in his live. I know he's the moderator for AMCBiggums, but he runs over and he says the same thing AMCBiggums said. And it's like, do you have any thoughts of your own? We know you're a tough guy in the streets who doesn't leave the driveway. But I'll let you keep talking because you keep talking out of your ass. The reverse split does nothing for the debt. You still have to dilute the shares of the company by selling shares and raising capital. They didn't want to buy it at $1. They didn't want to buy it at $2, $3. You think they want to buy your trumped up shares at $25? They bought it at 60 cents. So where do you think they're going to buy it at? It's called distressed credit investing. Google the fucking term. You are clueless. And Zero DD.
Huh?
Distressed debt investing is basically buying the debt of companies in trouble, companies that might be perhaps close to default or even bankruptcy. Funds buy that debt cheaply from banks or other funds that don't want to deal with the situation, betting that they can profit from a turnaround, a restructuring, or even by gaining control of the company's future. Private equity firms, including big names like Oaktree, Apollo, Ares, and Blackstone, seize the opportunity.
I'm quite confused.
No homework at all. You are stuck in your echo chamber of AMCBiggums and Boss Blunts, and all you guys deserve each other. You're going to lose every dollar you ever put in. F you and your good energy. You guys set yourself up for this shit. I'm tired of your bullshit videos, your little parody songs, all the shit you do. You're trying to string people along in this play, tell them you're going to vote yes. Your vote doesn't fucking matter. You're making a video about people I'm still voting yes. Nobody cares. Adam Aron has the votes himself without you. This is why they sold the stock. This is why they put out the press release. Because now they're negotiating other said shares they're about to sell off to other people with the idea of, hey, by the way, this is what we're doing now. And Tura's in charge. They hold 20% of this company. I'm just a figure piece. Adam Aron's just a poster child of robbing retail. That's going to be his legacy. And your legacy, well, it's going to be making terrible fucking AMC YouTube videos. What you're going to live by, bro. Enjoy the $2. Enjoy everything you're not getting. And I don't know what else to tell you. It's late, man. Get some sleep. Peace, scrub.
Unfortunately, AMC just hit a new all-time low. It's down in excess of 98%. And from the moment that the CEO, Adam Aron, announced an additional dilution of 40 million shares, it's down roughly 50%.
Oh my God. He dumped the 40 million at $11 and change. Why? This is the worst time to dilute. He's evil. He's Captain Dilution.
So again, I get it. A lot of people want you to toe the line, and I'm going to lose those people with this video. They want me to toe the line and say that Big Daddy Adam Aron can do no wrong. We must just look at Big Daddy and say, oh, thank you so much for dumping on us. Thank you so much.
The shorts are safe. Everything is fine. And like I said last night, it's gonna have to build up again. The second drop that popcorn does, fact check me when it happens. When we have the run up, it's going to be one of those like what he did with Mudrick, like, yeah, listen, I got another 100 million shares. What do you wanna do? He's gonna drop it in 2 seconds.
But I'm so incredibly tired of this statement that to be a real ape, to be a real retail trader, you have to love Adam Aron. You have to love AMC. My question to that is why? They're now changing their thesis halfway through it, and they feel like if you're not doing that with them, you're somehow the bad guy, the shill, someone working for a hedge fund. It's childish, and no one's gonna get anywhere with it. It's now just at the point where it's absolutely filled with bots.
On September 12th, Anthony Franzetti shifted his attention to Doug Sifu, a frequent target of AMC influencers. While Adam Aron quietly orchestrated the company's downfall through theft, Franzetti clumsily tried to deflect Aron's crimes by posing as a champion for retail investors and attacking Sifu's Virtu Financial. In reality, Franzetti aided Aron in one of the largest thefts in American history, possibly through a paid and undisclosed sponsorship inferred by his actions and consistent promotion of Project Popcorn. On September 13th, 2023, Kevin Malone posted on X, revealing that AMC's board of directors sold 40 million shares, with none of the directors purchasing any shares themselves. In a subsequent post, Malone addressed the collapse of the much-hyped cost-to-borrow rate for AMC shares, which had been promoted by Project Popcorn advocates to entice investors to hold through 3 years of market manipulation. He noted the borrow rate plummeted from over 1,000% to 3.9% after Project Popcorn, signaling the end of the manipulated narrative. Malone's post underscored his belief that these actions deliberately eroded retail investor value. Charlie Plattis highlighted that AMC's original filing for 40 million shares stated they would be issued from time to time. This echoed their assurance to the Delaware Chancery Court that the shares wouldn't be released all at once. Yet Adam Aron issued the shares in just a few days. Pringle talks about one of Rose Izzo's important objections, the ability to opt out, where AMC promises a specific caveat in allowing the settlement, that they would not immediately collapse the APE and AMC common stock shares, nor immediately dilute as a promise contingent to allow the non-opt-out clause.
I guess there's a couple of statements on the record. Basically, we're not going to collapse the common and preferred anytime soon. We're not going to use this as a dilution mechanism. There won't be dilution anytime soon. Like, don't worry. We're just issuing apes. We're not doing anything else with it.
On September the 16th, Catherine Larson pushed back against investor doubts, rejecting claims she failed to prove share ownership during the 2023 summer court proceedings. She accused those of questioning her authenticity of being shills, the tired boogeyman term influencers like her repeatedly wield to attack verified investors whose AMC shares were stripped away. Yet, for 3 years, Larson's market manipulation predictions have spread numerous falsehoods about AMC, serving the interests of the company's executive leadership. To substantiate her ownership, Larson shared a screenshot from Corrine Elise Amato's June 21st, 2023 court decision. However, the third revision of the Berry affidavit, issued less than 24 hours earlier, tells a different story. Larsson's name is absent in the first version, appears without proof of ownership on page 23 of the second version, and in the third version, it's confirmed. Larsson held no shares when she endorsed Aron's Project Popcorn theft with her letter of support.
If you want to know what's going on with AMC and the upcoming stockholders vote, which will be on November 8th, 8 proposals. Some of them are concerning to say the least.
In the aftermath of AMC's Project Popcorn, the company's board of directors pressed for another shareholder vote, igniting fierce controversy. The divisive proposals drew sharp criticism from influential retail investor voices, including Matt Kohrs, once a steadfast supporter of AMC CEO Adam Aron. Kohrs' shift, driven by concerns over the potential fallout of Project Popcorn, marked a pivotal moment. He and other retail advocates soon found themselves targeted by a group of prominent defenders of Aron's initiatives. Among them was Anthony Franzetti, whose defense of the board was both elementary and ignorant. Instead of engaging in substantive debate, which would no doubt expose Franzetti's motivations, Franzetti resorted to calling the opposition trolls, a divisive and simplistic attack that resonated with his audience but lacked any intellectual depth. Like his peers who employed similarly crude tactics, Franzetti insisted he had no financial ties to the board, saying specifically,
"No, nobody pays me for any of my opinions,"
leaving observers to question what fueled his persistent efforts to deflect scrutiny from AMC's leadership. His rhetoric, echoing the divisive and uninformed approach of his counterparts, seemed to obscure the deeper issues surrounding the board's decisions.
Going to be giving you what is probably a different perspective on the proxy statement for AMC than you might have heard from some of the pumpers.
Never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty.
Or the trolls. We're going to be going over my due diligence work on this and do proposal number 5 to approve an amendment to our certificate of incorporation to expand the exculpation provision to limit the liability of certain officers.
Language.Foundation's Video Dictionary, helping you achieve understanding.
Exculpation.
Pronounce not guilty of criminal charges. Acquit, assoil, clear, discharge, exonerate.
Another way to say that is a get out of jail free card.
This is not a carte blanche, let's get them a get out of jail free card.
Rather than explaining the well-known theft tied to Project Popcorn, Franzetti delved into legal documents to dissect why the proxy statement included full exoneration for the board of directors directly following Project Popcorn.
I looked up a couple of legal briefs to understand why was this on here in the first place, and I will put links to the articles in the video description for you to go through and read at your leisure.
After creating Ape, merging Ape back in, doing all this dilution, really interesting to me that they want to sneak this in.
He then outlined AMC's insider trading policy, asserting that violators should have the book thrown at them or face incarceration for their actions.
Under our insider trading policy, as always, if someone were violating this policy, they ought to have the book thrown at them.
Despite extensive evidence of insider trading by the board of directors throughout 2021, following Project Popcorn's inception, Franzetti, in his self-proclaimed expert and intellectual opinion, claimed there was no proof of wrongdoing. He dismissed those exposing the board's rampant insider trading, aimed at protecting their investments before tanking the stock's value, as mere trolls.
But we have no evidence of that, just lots of allegations constantly being thrown out by various trolls on Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube.
Undermining his own credibility as an informed professional, though he was never one in the first place. At the end, he wants to make certain those watching know,
nobody pays me, this was all my own work.
Number 5 is evidently the most suspect when they're trying to absolve themselves of legal liability. That's ridiculous. Why would you ask for that unless you did something? Like, that one absolutely blows my mind. And then when I see people trying to stand up for it, well, if there's someone who's a paid shill, it should be that person, and there might be paid off by someone else. I mean, obviously I don't know, but like, talk about seeming like a paid show. Absolutely ridiculous.
I read these comments out on X all day long. I see the comments in the I guess comment section of these YouTube videos here, and I can't help but think these people are absolute sheep. They've been brainwashed. There's no helping them, or they're just not all there. I don't know what the answer is, right? It bewilders my mind that some people would think this is a good idea. And I simply have to ask why, because I have no idea. I cannot fathom the answer to that question. The only thing that makes sense is that the people who don't make sense are paid to not make sense. Now think about that. You guys know a lot of the prominent names in this AMC stock movement who have been screaming that dilution and debt reduction is the answer all along, but you should be willing to help Adam Aron. You should be willing to help a man who is unwilling to help himself. I could go on all day because it boggles my mind and really, really upsets me to see people led down this direction.
In their estimation, we should be voting yes on every single one. Adam Aron and really the AMC board are attempting to pull a fast one. So proposals 3, 4, and 5 are where I have particular concern. Proposal 3, all the rules that the company was originally created on, they're trying to basically change its foundational doctrine. Proposal 4. So 3 and 4, people talking about potential takeovers. The one that people have a lot of issues with are right here. So this is the important part to listen to. Proposal number 5. Why do they think they need to limit their liability? Proposal number 5 is the one jumping out to me of why in the world are they asking for this unless they already knew they did something they should not have done.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Sure, everyone's pissed off, so I shouldn't even ask that question. Everybody woke up today and saw the filing for the 40 million shares for AMC. And a lot of people are sad about it. They act like they didn't know dilution was coming right after a reverse split. People are sitting there going, man, this might not have been the right way, but I'm going to go over everything. You guys, I know this feels like it's the wrong path, and I know that, but I'm going to show you what you would have woken up to today. And it's a lot better of a situation than what you would have woken up to. It was like, man, this 40 million, this was the wrong path. It's like we're diluting at $1.10. If we would have woke up and said no, something would have happened to this conversion. But what ended up happening is, if you guys look at it, APE would have plummeted. The price obviously went up because everybody was playing the arbitrage play, and it would have dropped back down to levels where Antera dropped, bought in at 66 cents. You would have seen APE drop back down to what, 80 cents? And then what ended up happening on this news is APE would have dropped even farther. They would have shorted it back down. Now, what I think happened this morning is Adam Aron went ahead and he dropped a block of shares.
Back in his August 28th video, Brian Reis employed fear-mongering tactics, initially predicting Aron would sell APE at 40 to 55 cents. He later adjusts this to 33 cents after Aron releases 40 million shares, intensifying fears and cunningly misleading viewers into thinking dilution benefits everyone. In the past, he's been accused of changing the narrative to fit his motives when it is clear deception.
Why the f would I cover when I can sit there and over buy APE now at 45, 55 cents? And then what we're going to do, instead of having one Antera, you're going to have 4 or 5. But that's still a massive difference between selling at 33 cents, which is what we would have been able to do. We would have been diluting billions of APE just to equal what the hell we would have done off this right away. I believe he sold about 20 million shares, because I think he learned his lesson after last time. We obviously see dilution, manipulation nonstop, and he should know by now, hey, you're going to have to sell it at the highest level. I believe he sold a block of about 20 million shares, and I believe he was able to average around $10. So he made 200 million off of that. That leaves us 20 million more shares, and I believe he'll be able to average around $9. If you look at this article here, you got AMC will be able to pay off $4.4 billion in debt by issuing shares after the conversion, as long as the price remains above $9. Adam Aron wouldn't need, he's been averaging 34 to 36% off his debt because he's been paying it early. Seen APE drop back down 35 cents, 40 cents, unless you would have had another Antera come in And then you guys would have went crazy because he would have sold hundreds of millions of ape shares at 35 to 40 cents. You would have had a new deal with the new Antera, maybe even Antera again. So one of the things about the Antera deal is everybody was so mad about ape, and it's like, well, they were attacking ape. And I kept telling everyone they're attacking ape. You have people telling people to sell ape. Ape's not worth it. Why would you buy it? You have the big YouTubers, Matt Kohrs, all these guys. Oh, ape's stupid. Meet Kevin, Zip Trader, all these. Oh, it's all stupid. Don't buy ape. Why would you buy it at this level if you can't convert? So again, ape's price would have dropped right back down. So let's say that suddenly ape was at 37 cents. You would have sold 1 billion ape just to get that 370 million that I believe we're gonna make by the end of this, maybe the next couple weeks here. People think AMC wasn't gonna get out of dilution, and it blows my fucking mind. They're fixed. If you're able to pay your debt, if you're able to put money away, if you're able to explore new revenues and do all these things, you have no reason for dilution. And I've said that forever. Fundamentals fucking matter. They matter insanely amount in this. And our fundamentals, a year and a half ago, we were screaming at the rooftop. Guys, we're burning 200 million a quarter. We're burning 100 million a quarter. This interest, this debt, it is fucking destroying us. We gotta pay it down. We gotta focus on it. Adam Aron, before he even created ape, asked for another dilution. And everybody goes, no, that's gonna kill the squeeze. That's going to kill the squeeze if we do another dilution. Imagine if we would have done the dilution then, because they would have kept on shorting it. Ape would have never been created. You would have raised another billion, but everybody, like I said, everybody went nuts then. Well, guess what? We didn't do your conversion right away, and no squeeze happened. And then he was forced to make ape. And once again, if you look at me and say, well, if he would have done ape, if he went to made ape, we would have squeezed. If he went to done ape, he already showed you with the numbers. If we went to done ape, AMC would have $180 million right now going bankrupt. Everybody that's going fucking crazy. Today, you would have woken up on a brand new filing. It would have had 2 billion fucking ape. Price of ape would have plummeted. AMC was already dropping before the conversion. Remember everybody going, we're already back on our way down to $3. They're already controlling it and doing all this stuff. Yeah, I know. They were already shorting AMC. And then when AMC and ape dropped down to 30 cents and AMC was able to raise less and less capital, the price would have went down and down and down. We need to make sure we are seeing the movies.
Recall before the proceedings at the Chancery Court up until Project Popcorn was approved, the short thesis was dead. Suddenly, it's alive again.
And also explain how they're terrified of a split with yet another lawsuit.
Why do you think these shorts are so fucking scared of the conversion and the reverse split?
We know the shorts are afraid of the reverse stock split.
Like I said, they're scared shitless, you guys.
I consider it a short's dream for this lawsuit to go against AMC. They'd be like, oh, we got him in the final trap now.
Every time you split your stock, it becomes fodder for the shorts. I mean, when you go 1 for 25 and then one for authorized 1 for 100, you do 1 for 9. We know that the shorts pounce.
People have been screaming about our balance sheet for a year and a half, and instead of listening to them, instead of realizing AMC needs to fix this balance sheet. They have to. The short thesis isn't dead until they do. But AA wants to kill the company. Then why did he do the Taylor Swift deal? Because he just wants to milk retail a little bit longer, Brian. Yeah, I know. That makes complete sense. Why are you talking dilution? Why are you talking bankruptcy? Why did you say we needed ape? Why do you do all these things? Because none of you guys want to acknowledge the balance sheet. We're still burning fucking money. A writer's strike is huge for us. COVID could come around the corner. I've been talking about the balance sheet forever, and all that people say is, well, you're paid off by AA. I'm paid off by AA to tell you AMC has been burning money and we need to solve that problem. Think of how fucking dumb that sounds. Well, you're paid off by banks. I'm paid off by banks to tell you to fucking leave their bank and go into a fucking ISDA bank in a credit, or a non-ISDA bank in a credit union. Before APE even came about, we should have diluted the second time and handled all of this. Today, everybody wants to sit there and act like, oh my God, we got destroyed. And no, you didn't. You diluted at a much higher price than you would have. And you had no fucking option to do it other than to dilute. Now what I'm hoping is he dropped all fucking 40 million, or he dropped at least 20 million, and he's gonna drop 20 million over the next week by an average at least fucking $9.25, $9. If you believe in the play, and here you are right now going, fucking goddamn it, I'm so fucked. I gotta get this play to $200. Well, guess what? You can buy now, and just like you would have been buying at 88 cents before, when we told you to get ape at 88 fucking cents. You can average down insanely fucking hard if you believe in the play right now and you're way up there, can't you? Now realize the reality of the balance sheet that Adam Aron has been speaking about. The balance sheet Biggums has been screaming about. We can't burn $650 million. If you think saying no would have been smarter, and you think today when you woke up and you saw a fucking new filing for 2 billion ape to be sold at 35 to 37 cents, and then you would have found another Antera that got involved at 25 cents. If you think that was the better fucking route and you're an overboard going, that's the way we should have went. I told you before this conversion even happened, dig the fuck in. If you're ready, get fucking ready, because we have to fix this fucking balance sheet. I haven't lied about anything. The only thing I was wrong about is I thought, here's my point. When they sit here and say AMC's valued at $1.90 and pre-conversion, that means it should be at $19 logically fucking post-conversion, right? But it's not. Instead, they fucking do their bullshit. Like I said, dude, anytime we're gonna raise capital, they have no choice but to fucking cheat, manipulate, and short the hell out of it. We will have pass, but right now we need AMC's balance sheet, and that short thesis dead. As a CEO, anytime you can dilute at double the price, I know it sucks for us, but again, we ignored our balance sheet forever, and now we're at a point where it's like, the way we can raise capital, they down to fucking 80 cents.
On September 19th, 2023, Kevin Malone posted on X condemning Adam Aron's excessive compensation amid AMC's declining value. He calculated that Aron's salary, derived from Project Popcorn, and the destruction of shareholder value equated to the wages of 2,421 employees. Malone highlighted that Aron's earnings outpaced the average CEO's by a ratio of 272 to 1, emphasizing the stark disparity and accusing AMC's leadership of prioritizing personal gain over retail investors.
Today, I want to talk about how we're on the verge of triggering billions of dollars in forced selling.
There are people out there that are actually posting now. Adam was right, the silverback, he's gonna save us. We're gonna, no joke. And it's funny because there are people who actually see popcorn in this light. So I'm gonna show you this because this is too fucking hilarious. Jesus is holding on to him like, dog, you in so much trouble, you have no idea. I'm gonna fucking revoke your fucking yarmulke. There you go. The power of Christ compels you, but you never talked about those Brazilian AMC shares. Think about that one for a second. I laugh when people tell me he contacted FINRA in the exchange about the FTDs. I'm thinking to myself like, do you remember 500 million AMC shares in Brazil with Citi? And nobody talks about, it's like nobody talks about that. Throw some holy water on this mother. And when people are like, oh, but what about the other movie stocks? They're all up. Yeah, but there's a problem. They know that this CEO, okay, Adam Aron, is holding 500 million shares ready to drop at any time it goes up. That's the chilling effect with AMC right now. It is the dilution king company. It's taking down a lot of investors as far as their holding. And the fact that it just went through a reverse split with a CEO putting out hit pieces on his own company, all of these meme stocks, because at the end of the day, they use people, especially this company. This company did a job on people.
Today, I want to talk about how the director of the film Da Money has said the AMC play is not over and that a short squeeze or run up will happen again.
Al from Boston, he filed a lawsuit against all the parties. You see, that's the kind of weird thing about this stock. When you take a look at the amount of people that he named as defendants, now you're understanding how many people were involved on the other side of AMC, profiting from everything AMC's, scheming, working together. Like this would have never happened in the past. If you get into discovery, popcorn. That's all I can say. And then find out through subpoena, through interrogatories, find out what YouTube influencers AMC paid in order to get people to go forward with this. Don't forget what I just told you. That is key for later on, because that will 100% show that that side reached over to this side and paid influencers in order to bring people over. Those influencers they're going to be defendants one day. The shorts are not in danger now because they know that there's shares out there. So yes, we own the float, but so what? They have shares waiting to drop. It would have to go up to past $300 something for you could start to say Moaz, but ain't gonna happen. You think Popcorn's gonna hold on to 500 million shares while this stock goes up to $350 and he has, after reverse split dilution merger, shares that were not affected? Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
I always comment on the YouTubers with the follow the line and everything. I can officially say that they go f yourself 100%. You have no idea what you're talking about. None.
A new report from Semaphore saying that AMC's CEO Adam Aron was the victim of a blackmail plot in 2022. The report saying that Aron sent sexually explicit images and messages during weeks-long communications with a woman who tried to extort hundreds of thousands of dollars from him using fake identities. The Bronx woman pleaded guilty to scamming a victim number one. That's how I believe some of this came about. We'll talk about that in a second, who Semaphore now says was Adam Aron.
And this is a CEO who I think has demonstrated some pretty questionable judgment on lots of occasions. He spent $28 million of shareholders' money buying a stake in a teetering gold mine.
The mining company, I remember that. Yep.
And really leaned into this meme stock ride in a way that, frankly, is probably why AMC still exists, didn't go bankrupt, but himself, sold $40 million of stock into this craze. This is a CEO that kind of bears watching.
Right. Aron speaking out about that blackmail plot in a long post. He posted it on X, formerly Twitter, saying in part, quote, "Unfortunately, last year I became the victim of an elaborate criminal extortion by a third party who was unknown to me related to false allegations about my personal life. Rather than give in to the blackmail, I personally engaged counsel and other professional advisors and reported the matter to law enforcement. I did so knowing I risked personal embarrassment, but with my access to resources, if I did not stand up against blackmail, who could?" He also writes, "I was asked by law enforcement to keep this matter confidential during their investigation and subsequent court case. Shortly after the extortionist's July 2023 sentencing, I informed AMC's board of directors, which thoroughly reviewed these events with independent outside counsel at Wilmer Hale, that's the law firm. As I said above, this indeed was entirely a personal matter, and the matter, he says now, is closed." But as a company issue, and this goes to the judgment story, he has made a number of decisions which people have found questionable. At the same time, the truth is, and I don't know where you think directionally this company is going, he's at a time during the pandemic when people thought this company was going to fail, he has managed through all sorts of different ways to continue to raise money. Now, some people have questioned how he's raised that money and whether he's done that on the backs of shareholders who haven't understood what's happening and all of that. But how do you sort of, through that prism, see all of this?
This is very concerning and troubling. Though they did an equity offering a couple weeks ago that really riled up the retail base. They've just been so massively diluted.
Right.
It was like some weird, he thought she was like a 17-year-old Russian model ballerina something. Now that everybody's brushing this over, everything is fine. Don't worry about it, Popcorn. Everything is okay. Not in my fucking book, but that's beside the point. I have never held a stock that has had a CEO implicated in some wild sexting type scam. That didn't even exist in my time. But the fact that it did happen, and it happened as AMC was doing the climb up, I mean, you couldn't get a bigger kiss of doom on the stock. But anyway, they should have him step down as a CEO. The fact that he's there, that even if he's the victim, okay, let's say he was the victim, but the fact is that this is all swirling around him. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, you're old already. Step down. You're a multi-millionaire several times over. I gotta check the Bible to see if if Popcorn was somewhere making the cross, sharpening the stakes. This dude is out of the Bible evil type stuff. See, everybody right now that's shorting this stock, whether they short it illegally or not, know that if the price goes up and they're in trouble, they also know that Popcorn is going to be dumping shares in order to make a profit. So that's kind of that's where this is at right now. Everybody here is an AMC victim. Everybody got cut 10-1. If you bought in at 30, you need 300 to be break even. AMC was making money beforehand. AMC didn't even need to do anything with the debt until 2026. Only people with big money that's buying this stock is the ones that are going to lend out the shares. And right now, Popcorn and them, I'm sure they're lending out those shares. And listen, this one was different. This was sabotage. This was done against us. It wasn't for us, it was for them. You understand? That's why at the end of the day, you take a look at this whole thing. This last thing that happened this last week with Popcorn catfishing, sending pictures. Do you understand the type of human beings that are involved in this? Would you let a man like Popcorn, now that you know the deal, come in and work on your roof, be your plumber, fix your wife's car, be around your children? That kind of weird shit. You understand the kind of people that are in this play? There you go. They don't give a fuck about it. And that's how I try to protect all of you. I try to keep you away from all that shit. But I couldn't, because at the end of the day, the momentum, he's our silverback, he's our... And I was like, no. Now we know exactly what him and the board did. Because this stock, the people that are involved, the company didn't need the shares. Where's the dire emergency that they needed the shares for? Popcorn didn't explain this to everybody, especially during the lawsuit, because we might go into bankruptcy. Do you know that during the time when he was talking about bankruptcy, he was basically working with the Taylor Swift people to bring Taylor Swift directly to AMC. It was a direct to AMC business relationship, which has never been done before. AMC was claiming bankruptcy while they were embarking on a new business venture, which meant that they didn't share profits with the movie studios and the Hollywood executives, because Taylor Swift's people went directly to AMC. Popcorn never disclosed the fact that AMC was embarking on a entertainer business going directly to AMC, cutting out a large portion of the Hollywood film industry, which is going to make them very profitable. They didn't put that part out there when they were talking about, we need the shares, we need the money. AMC in the future, with another Taylor Swift event, or Selena Gomez, Beyonce, I don't even know who these people are. Any entertainer or any Hollywood star that wants to do something now directly and cut out the studios can now cut a deal directly with AMC. AMC stands to make more money in these direct to market engagements than they have been making before. Why didn't Popcorn disclose that? So now you're thinking, how does that affect my stock? Well, they're still going to drop stocks on us. I already know that. They're still going to drop shares. But the fact is, why can't he come out and say that AMC has found a new business revenue model that is going to increase profits beyond anything the movie theater industry has ever had before? Because now a celebrity can handle their own marketing through their own mass audience, their global audience, and go directly to AMC, and AMC profits amazingly. They're like the new stadium arena type thing. I am exposing this right now. AMC has found a way to cut out Hollywood, and when they put it together these productions, that means that they get a bigger lion's cut out of this, because they're not getting the crumbs that Hollywood sprinkles. Don't let them say they're claiming bankruptcy. We have to drop more shares. Fuck you, pay me. Remember when this friendly Puerto Rican came to YouTube and said, hey, they're just running everything on a secondary book system. Yeah, they're just handling everything on the side. So you see that price, but they have another price and they're running it on that side. Nobody believed me. People thought I was crazy. At the end of the day, I told you they don't got the money to settle this thing. Morgan Stanley may pay up to $1 billion to resolve U.S. probe into private stock sales. Oh my God, Morgan, how? How can you do such a thing? I told everybody back then they were running AMC on a secondary set of books. They were doing business on the side. I said, you think everything is done on the weekends? They're making sure everything is taken care of. I was the one that popped up and did this, and nobody else did. Now everybody else could talk about it now and talk about different numbers. Yeah, Johnny come lately. Because at the end of the day, when I popped up, don't pop up and say shit like this. But I did it because you people were being abused. Because at the end, they were running the books on the side against all of us. You understand?
The Parseval reminded everyone of the importance of the January 27th, 2021 date and the creation of GameStop and AMC tokenized shares. Charlie Plattis, known as Zip Trader, made two critical statements that exposed the shady underworkings of AMC Theaters' business practices, easily understandable to anyone. The first statement ominously warned of yet another stock dilution event looming in December, further eroding shareholder value. He stated, "If you are buying AMC stock, it is a donation to Adam Aron and the board, not an investment. This will not be the last of the dilution. Under Adam Aron, their primary business is selling shares, not movie tickets or popcorn. We said this the last time and got a lot of pushback, And we are saying this again. AMC is a great squeeze setup that is being thwarted again and again by the board, recklessly diluting. On November the 21st, his second message conveyed perfectly how Adam Aron and the AMC board of directors were continually robbing retail investors throughout Adam Aron's reign, even after Project Popcorn completed. It still goes on to this day. Plattis said, "As of today, AMC stock is at its lowest price in history. This is what happens when a very unique short squeeze setup gets pillaged by a greedy board obsessed with destroying shareholder value. Bots will continue to tell you to donate to CEO Adams' enrichment fund, but think twice. We've been warning this would happen since the original dilution started."
And I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I have not read through this entire thing.
It's 200 pages. I don't blame you.
I did exactly according to the due diligence I provided on here, which was at the point that it made sense, converted my AMC to APE, and then sold it after the settlement was approved because it ran up.
On November the 22nd, attacks on retail investors conducting a legal share count continued. One of Aron's supporters, unwittingly misguided, failed to recognize that shareholders genuinely outraged by Aron's theft were not an army of short sellers, as their cognitive bias led them to believe. They persisted in convincing other retail investors that the share count was harmful. In some cases, it seems Aron didn't need to pay certain followers, as their own mental shortcomings and limited ability to connect information drove their actions.
Today, I want to talk about how you can become a millionaire from the AMC squeeze.
Popcorn has to have no shares because every time it rises up, he has shares, he will drop. And I keep telling people that as long as he has shares, everybody in AMC is that is our biggest enemy. It ain't the shorts, it ain't the hedge funds, it ain't the banks. It is Popcorn and the board. That's why that's a toxic play. We beat everybody, but the company we saved worked against us. I am a long-time AMC holder, still holding. My investment is down 84%. Popcorn can eat 350 million dicks. Trust me, I know. Tomorrow morning, opening a business, AMC for me is done.
In the beginning of December, Rose Izzo filed her appeal with the Supreme Court of Delaware.
The reason why I left AMC is because we were involved in a short squeeze. Throughout the process, I explained a lot of things about Wall Street, things that at the end of the day were detrimental to me. Please understand what happened to me that the government did to me because I was helping you. I was saying I had federal agents tell me to shut the okay? They came to my home to tell me that. Okay, as long as Popcorn has shares to dilute now, the price will not run. What do you want me to do? Go back to AMC and tell you every day that there's synthetic shares? There's not anymore. There's real shares on the street. Do you think I'm a fucking ape? Come on. Whoever calls himself an ape at this day and age is a fucking complete moron. They created that. Popcorn likes calling me ape. I'm trying to make people money. I'm trying to save people's lives here. Because that should have never been done to the people that put their money in. He got robbed. And nobody said anything.
Why do you have to have the ability to dump massively now? You just simply do not. This is all a farce.
Ahora, ¿cuántas agujas van a meterte mañana?
Una sola.
Perfecto.
So when I talk about Adam Aron, about not saying nothing, here's a quick point. The fact that 100 years of AMC had the best earnings ever. What does he come out and do? The very next day, dilution. The very next day, momentum was on the side for the retail investor, possible upside, 100 years. That's never happened in the history of AMC. Best earnings ever, blah, blah, blah. What do you get? Bam! Dilution. Right up the ass.
While the management seemingly try to do everything in their power to make sure that every time the stock is about to break out and squeeze, that some sort of press release comes out that says, oh, we're gonna push. We're gonna fight tooth and nail to have dilution. We're gonna push through any court hearing, any judge that blocks us, we're gonna just ram through them and make sure that we can dilute like mofos.
He has a knack for saying really bad things when it comes to good things happening for the ticker symbol. But when really bad things are happening to the ticker symbol, not a peep, not a word, him just sitting back, I'm sure just milking it all in, taking it all in, and understanding this was the plan the whole time. Go over retail.
Aron played the tired COVID sympathy card again, referencing AMC's stock crashing to $4.48 per share post-split. He blamed a 4-year-old pandemic, conveniently dodging the real culprit, his premeditated 2021 Project Popcorn scheme that tanked the stock.
We're gonna face bankruptcy. It's horrible. In 2 years from now, we won't have any more money for pay raises or bonuses. It's so horrible. It's coming. What's coming? I don't know.
Phillip Pitts stooped to new lows, targeting an outspoken AMC investor by calling their employer to threaten them, ironically accusing them of harassment.
Good day. You have an employee by the name of this person, as I understand, works for the 8th department. This person that I'm referring to has been harassing retail investors for almost a year now, and we're tired of it. So we think at this point you need to tell him to stop harassing us online, or else we will take legal action. Have a good day.
Pitts doubled down, bragging to his loyal followers about having the investors' personal information and escalating his threats with chilling confidence.
I got a message for a particular shill out there that wants to dox retail investors, put out their personal information for no reason. You just want to put out all this information and you want to sit there and use it to harass us with it. Well, I'm going to give you a message, homie. I got your real name. I got your phone number. I got your address. I know what city and state you in. I got your supervisor's number. So, if you don't know by now, better get familiar, homie.
Kevin Malone backed retail investors stung by Project Popcorn, exposing that AMC sold more stock than it ever earned in revenue. Pitts kept up his harassment, bombarding the investors' work phone with 2 menacing voicemails.
Me, motherfucker. You know different than the wife that's claiming that she got raped. That's you piece of shit, you boy.
Another person joined the fray, calling the investors' workplace to pile on more threats, but this time including the entire university, leaving it open-ended for anything to occur.
Hello, I am Batman. The following voicemail you're to hear comes from your employee who has been harassing retail investors every day for the past year. It's time you listen and stop trying to save him. Otherwise, I will respond to the bat signals. So as you can hear, your employee cannot stop calling and harassing retail investors who spent their own money on a stock. Yet this man goes on the internet spreading personal information of retail investors online. This could lead to legal trouble for him and you. If you continue to help him, we will expose the University of Arizona of harboring a repeat offender of harassment, defamation, slander, libel, and extortion. He's attempting to retail investor share amounts to illegal short sellers who are bankrupting the country before everyone finds out. So yes, he is helping illegal short sellers to extort everyday hardworking retail investors. We will make this bigger than it needs to be.
Pitts, of course, without any evidence, claimed he, Marcel Kalinovic, and Anthony Franzetti were getting death threats.
And then on top of that, we got the big homie, Tony De Niro, going over balance sheets, just being 100, being real. Him, those two individuals, me included and others, we're getting death threats. I know why you're doing it. It's because you're short. Simple. Pull up, find out.
A few days later, Sean Tabor, a Kansas resident connected to a network notorious for harassing and threatening stock investors, posted a video on his former YouTube channel. The video featured the same audio used in an open-ended threat targeting the University of Arizona and an AMC investor, unmasking Tabor as the source of the harassment. Michael AME linked Tabor to Michael Bloomberg's Everytown for Gun Safety, suggesting, if true, that they may have inspired Tabor's malicious stalking, or that Tabor was part of a group led by Donnahue, self-proclaimed pseudo-intellectuals who claimed to be receiving death threats and may have directed the actions.
Join us in the Wise Guys room and hear from a lot of very smart folks. I will be there as well.
And I've looked at this with the brightest minds. You name it, Casey Shaw, Pantheon AMC, and 100 other apes.
This raises questions about how many other AMC investors faced death threats during this time and whether those threats were carried out.
Let me tell you something. If you think you're having a bad day, trust me, you're not. Love all you motherfuckers. I'll be back soon. Look at this hat. I'm gonna rock this stuff. I look like half a Smurf. Love you. I'll be back.
He passed away on March 12th at like 1 in the morning. He had an infection after surgery that his body couldn't fight, and he is no longer with us.
What I'm about to say is very real, very serious, very educated. People in suits on Wall Street who act better than the everyday trader and like, oh, you're not informed and this isn't a game and you shouldn't be involved. Shut the fuck up. Those people are full of shit. It's all a game. And algorithms, and we've entered an age where, values of companies are great. It's algorithms, controlling information, when to sell, when to buy, dips, like John Henry's algorithm. You think that had anything to do with values of company? No, it was playing a game. And it's greed and everyone's trying to make money. And you shouldn't rig the game against the little guy, which is what they do. It's like the people making money make the rules to ensure they're the only ones who can make money. And it's bullshit. And you shouldn't rig it for one guy or the other.
Kevin Malone dropped a bombshell. In 8 years as CEO, Aron pocketed more cash than AMC and all its shareholders combined, mirroring corporate exploitation and fiduciary betrayal.
I want to talk about how the shorts will soon be closing all of their short positions, leading to the mother of all short squeezes.
Malone urged retail investors involved in various stocks to contact state representatives and build a Wall Street RICO case, calling out the systemic manipulation crushing retail investors.
Today, I want to talk about the massive short squeeze that just happened on Friday, which we can actually watch back in real time and use as AMC short squeeze preparation.
Phillip Pitts decided to threaten the same retail investor again on the 24th of October. He promised to do so after the magical Moaz, utilizing his resources to complete the task. AMC's earnings report revealed a brutal $21 million net loss, yet Aron called it euphoric. Malone wasn't having it, blasting Aron's bloated salary and complicity in helping short sellers illegally manipulate AMC stock.
I feel your pain.
In early 2025, Aron leaned into his I Feel Your Pain act, claiming to be a shareholder too. For years after dumping his own shares, knowing Project Popcorn would gut the stock, he gloated about receiving new shares, untouched by the reverse split, perfectly timed to match the stock's current value. Kevin Malone exposed AMC's latest move, selling 50 million shares at $4 each to prop up counterparties' hedge positions, further harming retail investors. Michael AME posted on the 18th of January that the group involved with Sean Tabor shared political and Wall Street connections, communicated with each other on and offline, and knew each other while pretending to organically develop an authentic relationship with Doug Sifu, who may have been paying the group to harass others online. Tabor then admitted to deleting all of his communications to cover his tracks.
I'm sure everyone is having their victory laps. It doesn't make me go away, and it doesn't stop the fact that you guys are all broken, poor, and lost your money chasing shitco companies.
Oh, some people are on social media to do shit like this, like what Bill Pulte's doing, but I built quite the network, so.
I think they're going to be also quite surprised that Amy talking about the connection she's got. Find out really quick that I'm not some
and also
hopeless victim.
What were they asking for anyways? Communications from Twitter?
Oh yeah, Twitter communications. I wonder how that one's going to work out.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. Whoopsies. I don't have any documents to give you anymore. Thanks for reminding me of that, Platinum, because that's like the funniest thing in this whole thing.
It is.
So you want my communications between me and Amy, me and Doug, me and Drandon Bones, me and Vlad Plane, me and Torch, me and all these people who the only communications for the most part I had is on Twitter, and they're all gone.
Several months later, individuals targeted by Tabor infiltrated the group and discovered that some members might be interns at a financial firm or potentially linked to private equity, incentivized to carry out harassment and intimidation campaigns against unsuspecting retail investors. This could explain their direct connections to Doug Sifu and their aggressive attacks on accounts criticizing Virtu's embattled CEO. That girl trader, referenced in the first part of this series, responded in their group chat that they actively recruited individuals who had suffered market losses to join their campaign against other investors. Their primary goal appeared to be an attempt to curry favor with institutions opposed to retail shareholders in various stocks, demonstrating a blatant disregard for the lives they affected and a readiness to cross any moral or ethical boundaries if they had any to begin with. The original poster, Sears Revenge, also suggested a potential RICO case connected to these activities, with outrage mounting. Aron's true colors shone through. In a desperate bid to silence critics, he smeared negative X posts about him as bot-driven, trying to manipulate X's owner Elon Musk into censoring shareholders he spent 4 years plotting to divest of their money.
But before I close this call and move to questions, I'd like to close with just a special message to our retail shareholders, many of whom, thousands of whom, will be listening to this webcast. I want you to know that what I've said to you for years now remains true. Every day I continue to actively read your social media commentary, as it gives me a great sense of your views and lets me read the room, so to speak.
As this production examined Aron's misleading and disingenuous remarks to retail investors, it became essential to address them before concluding the documentary. His statements weren't just hollow. They reflected a consistent pattern of deception that continues to define AMC's leadership. At the center is Aron, widely regarded as the architect of a self-serving business model that many believe exploited shareholders for executive gain.
Over the past few years, I have poured a part of my life into understanding what happened to my investment in AMC. After suffering losses, I set out to find the truth, collecting mountains of evidence and building a documentary to answer one question. Did AMC's leadership steal from me and from thousands of others?
When I finished, I had to ask myself, well, what now? Do I sit back like so many others who were crushed and gave up, watching in silence while this fraud continues, ignored by nearly every agency meant to protect us? Do I stay quiet, knowing full well that Adam Aron and AMC's board are still doing it, still enriching themselves at the expense of shareholders from the moment Aron became CEO through Project Popcorn and into the present day? I want to hold AMC Theaters leadership accountable, to request an investigation, and to stand with every shareholder who was betrayed and silenced for the past few years. Adam Aron and the board of directors at AMC Theaters, as an investor in AMC since 2022, carrying the voices of countless people around the world who have reached out to me, people who lost nearly everything or lost everything. They believed you were on their side. I believed you. Every tweet, every crafted reassurance meant to calm retail investors, I believed them. We all did. I believed you when you promised on CNBC with Melissa Lee that you would uphold your fiduciary duty, open AMC to market scrutiny, and protect retail investors' hard-earned money. I believed you when you called yourself the Silverback, the leader of the retail ape movement. But the people who saved AMC in 2021 weren't naive. They entered the market believing it was a fair playing field and that you were on their side. They didn't lose because they were foolish. They lost because you betrayed them, because you put out that persona that you could be trusted. And we trusted you. On January 27th, 2021, the day after hedge funds took massive losses, you convened an emergency meeting and referenced a crowdsourcing effort. You knew tokenized shares were flooding the market while retail held a legitimate stock. In that day, the AMC stock subreddit appeared, building a loyal online army. You then demanded authorization for 500 million new shares, a move retail investors rejected, forcing you to pull the vote. Soon after, Citigroup, AMC's lead underwriter and financial advisor, reached out. They were already playing both sides, profiting as AMC's partner while working with short sellers against your own shareholders.
The board weaponized its blank check stock to target its own investors using APE as the vehicle.
Together, you revived an old 2013 shareholder authorization like a blank check and began what can only be called a coordinated dilution scheme amounting to de facto asset stripping. By November 2021, you and the board met with Citigroup's Derek Van Zant to design Project Popcorn, a plan to weaponize preferred equity units, rebranded as APES, to keep retail loyal while quietly gutting their investment. But APE was only the start. Behind the scenes, a coordinated campaign with Wall Street partners ensured this betrayal would succeed. You told investors APEs were a gift, tax-free, and a dividend. None of it was true. They already belonged to retail. You simply cut AMC's value in half. They weren't tax-free. APE collapsed the moment it hit the market. This was not a dividend. It was forced dilution, disguised as a reward.
APE was created with the intent and purpose to defraud and mislead AMC retail investors, a smash and grab against shareholders.
Then came the tour, your so-called checkmate against short sellers. Many cheered you, many believed you, but the paper trail proves it was all planned in advance. From DF King's emails, Crystal Scrudato and Jeffrey Weinberg warned AMC that retail support was essential to pass the reverse split and APE conversion vote. They coordinated crowdsourcing campaigns to influence retail sentiment even before APE was announced. In the B. Riley emails, your investment bankers admitted the plan would tank the stock, and you proceeded anyway. Among the people that were involved in those emails were two of AMC's executives, John Merriweather and Sean Goodman. Therefore, they knew they were taking the stock on purpose.
In the Antara Capital emails, they confirmed AMC was not near bankruptcy, even as you told retail the opposite, to frighten them into voting your way.
Then, for the coup de grace, you agreed to sell APE to Antara, along with Citigroup, at a pre-arranged price of 66 to 68 cents, locking in their yes vote and guaranteeing APE's collapse, while retail was wiped out. Again, the Daniel Meyer affidavit read, after crashing the price per APE to below $1, Citigroup introduced Adam Aron to Antara Capital, guaranteeing a rigged vote.
I want to make sure you know one thing. You've been postulating things, falsehoods, to retail for years now. One of them includes dismissing these as theories.
Adam, these are not theories. These are your own documents, your own emails. Let's fast forward to February 2025 and your quarter 4 earnings call for 2024. It began with John Merriweather's safe harbor disclaimer, warning investors about uncertainties supposedly beyond the company's control. He said,
several of the factors that will determine the company's future results are beyond the ability of the company to control or predict.
That was a lie.
You claimed uncertainty while emails between Citigroup, Antara, DF King, and B. Riley prove you had already engineered the outcome behind closed doors. A safe harbor statement is not a license to lie. AMC used it as a shield to mislead retail investors about a future you had already scripted. Then, Adam, you mocked us. You said,
sadly, there's so much false information floating around AMC on social media. Similarly, there are crackpot conspiracy theorists, like one after another, that seem to delight in speaking foolishly about AMC.
How are emails fake, Adam? How was your meeting with Derek Van Zant to design Project Popcorn false information?
You told us not to be distracted in what you said in the earnings call. We now know what you meant. Don't believe the truth.
Then you said people are delighting in saying these things about AMC. Let me tell you unequivocally, there is no delight in knowing millions of investors were robbed by AMC and by you. You and your board enriched yourselves and hedge funds while the investors who saved AMC in 2021 were destroyed by insider trading, collusion, dilution, and betrayal.
The fraud was highly organized, a more civilized smash and grab.
For me, I even gave you the benefit of the doubt, creating documentaries at first to defend you until I found out what was really going on. I was wrong. It was all real. It was all planned, and for speaking up, I endured attacks. People you've met in person called my employer, tried to get me fired, and threatened my life and the lives of others.
Adam Aron, Citigroup, and the AMC board, history will not remember you as saviors. It will remember you as architects of one of the greatest betrayals of retail investors in history.
To every shareholder, regulator, and public official, this cannot be ignored. Demand investigation. Share your story. Join any legal effort to hold AMC leadership accountable. History is watching and accountability will come. The script never changed. Adam Aron, center stage again, told shareholders he'd ask them for more shares, just like the 500 million he tried to push in 2021. But when the votes go against him, he doesn't accept the outcome. He rewrites the rules. Retail investors are left in the dark, their voices drowned out in the noise. AMC Theaters keeps acting sincere, but the real production is embezzlement, racketeering, and corporate corruption on repeat. Like a rigged play no one's allowed to stop. Aron repeats the cycle and continues the fraud.
Having said that, though, Here is a pledge that I am making to you today. There will be no more cash raised from the sale of common stock in calendar year 2025 unless we first take that matter of authorizing more common shares to you, our shareholders, for you to vote and help us make such a decision.
On January the 26th, 2025, Kevin Malone explained that Aron sold his shares in 2022 at split-adjusted prices. The shares sold at $228.47 each. Aron did not buy a single share with his own money, even after the price dropped to $2.38. A year after blaming 3 years of COVID, Aron blamed COVID, buttressing each statement as fact, while frustrated with the barrage of retail investors speaking their minds to him as his effort to silence them on X failed. Many of the investors in AMC knew Project Popcorn existed, but Aron disregarded the evidence as conspiratorial, blaming the box office and COVID. One person justly pointed out how his COVID argument was patently pathetic.
The box office, movies are coming in, but we're facing bankruptcy.
Kevin Malone's post on April the 2nd shot back at Aron's post on April the 1st. Whether deliberate or not, Aron was playing his investors for fools on April Fool's Day. Malone said that Aron had made more money than AMC as a company within the last 7 years. Investor Paul Drew stated on April the 5th, 2025, while Aron was using his "I ride with you" slogan again on investors, that he never bought a single share with his own money. The shares avoided being destroyed by Project Popcorn, and that Aron was paying his taxes on capital gains with the money he stole from retail investors. On the 16th of April, Malone struck at Aron again, reminding people that he still failed to purchase any shares. Aron's response was one of the most sickening and disingenuous attempts to deflect any criticism away from him, apart from attempting to have retail investors' accounts removed, stating that it was against securities laws for him to purchase any shares after committing what will go down in history as one of the biggest unenforced, well-planned, collusion-filled securities fraud of a lifetime, and possibly more with Project Popcorn. Despite his grasping to attain innocence, there is nothing Aron can do to erase his legacy as a CEO who stole billions of dollars away from millions of people, all because he believed he could get away with it, and still does. However, it is unsurprising because one of his closest friends and former bosses, Leon Black, was able to run from allegations of pedophilia by paying the Virgin Islands $62.5 million in connection to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Trey Collins and Matt Kohrs emerged as prominent figures in the AMC 8 movement, amassing significant followings during the saga and maintaining considerable influence over online communities. Their paths diverged when Collins endorsed Adam Aron's Project Popcorn, viewing it as beneficial for investors, while Kohrs cautioned against its potential harm, making himself a target for influencers aligned with Aron's strategy. Notably, Collins later admitted to receiving payment from an undisclosed source to promote a stock, a rare acknowledgement among the key figures in Aron's plan.
What's up, guys? Some of you might have seen, we all know Trey's trades. He'd come back and been posting, and a lot of people have been saying that it's just a matter of time before he gets back into the YouTube game, the stock game. Looks like he's gonna make a comeback. He's like, screw it, dude's in money, he's admitted to it. But what's even more crazy is he's admitted that there was a point there that he was actually paid to specifically promote a stock. 99% or whatever it may be, the majority of these influencers, especially when it came to AMC, they were here for the money.
A lot of people have been asking me lately how I lost my money, and I've debated whether or not to make a video talking about it, but I feel like this would be helpful. Back when I started my YouTube channel in December of 2020, I didn't have a lot of money to my name, and previously I had a bit of a gambling problem. I was playing with not very much money at the time, but I certainly still had a gambling problem, and I accrued a decent chunk of debt from that alongside some medical issues. I started up YouTube and quickly found success. I was just very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I went from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers in like a month and a half. The way that I handled my finances just was not very intelligent at all. The majority of my net worth was in AMC stock. In that short period of time from December of 2020 to June of 2021 was well over $1 million from my YouTube channel and from options. Together, I had made about $1.5 million in like 6 months, which is just not normal. I remember in June of 2021, my YouTube channel gave me $180,000 in revenue. I mean, that's just crazy. And I obviously didn't save anything for taxes either, and that got me into a pretty bad spot. It's crazy to say that you're living paycheck to paycheck when you're making that much money, but I was at the time. But I just lost all my money being a degenerate. When I lost everything, when I stepped away in September of 2022, I told half of the entire truth. You know, half of the reason I left was because I didn't like the way that things were looking. I thought that the company was looking rough. Anytime I would try to point out things that I thought that were counterintuitive to the thoughts of the general public, I would get shit on. And you know, it'd probably be easy to come back to YouTube and generate income that way, but that feels like the wrong way to do things. It doesn't feel right, and that's important to me. It's important that I feel like I'm doing things the right way, and that feels like an immoral way, quick fix way to make my money back.
It took one day for Trey Collins' moral compass to decide to go back to YouTube. Matt Kohrs responded to Trey Collins by saying, "That being said, paying off your debt by leveraging the same community you misled is not the right move. Some are saying Trey owned up to it, but all he admitted was that his life took a downward spiral after blowing his trading accounts and developing addictions. That's deeply upsetting, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's brutal." However, he still hasn't acknowledged that he was an undisclosed stock promoter. He hasn't apologized for actively deceiving his community. He never publicly admitted that he knowingly posted misleading videos just because they performed well, saying, "It's getting too many views to take down." Intent matters. Getting predictions wrong is part of the game, especially in the markets, but actively lying is a completely different story. Instead of telling hard truths, Trey chose to spread comfortable lies. Everyone deserves a second chance, but that only begins with telling the truth.
I guess we're live, man. What the heck, dude? This is kind of crazy. How y'all doing? I'm gonna wait a couple minutes here for people to roll into the chat. I'm kind of nervous. I can feel my heart beating real quick right now. It's been a couple of years since I've been on a YouTube live stream or...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, apes and ape bets. On behalf of Trey's Trades, the Gorilla Gang, and the AMC investor community, I would like to say I am not a dead cat. And we would like to extend a warm welcome to Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC Entertainment, and 35 years of experience as a consumer engagement experience manager. With that being said, I would like to sincerely thank you, Adam, for accepting our interview request, helping us understand more about the upcoming shareholder meeting proposals, and discussing AMC's future with the Gorilla Gang. We're not sure if you're aware of this, but we consider you one of us and occasionally refer to you tenderly as the silverback of the Gorilla Gang. To our knowledge, never in the history of publicly traded companies has a CEO had total access to tens of thousands of global retail investors by way of a YouTube channel through one single influencer. And I have to say, I'm extremely humbled and honored to be able to be that guy, speaking for the community. We view this as groundbreaking, and I'm sure that you, with your long history of consumer engagement experience, can appreciate that this has significant marketing and sentimental value to AMC and its shareholders. Adam, in case you were not aware of how widespread our community has grown, you and me included, the entire community, there was a recent Reddit post with recent request for a shareholder's location. And amazingly, we found that we now have shareholding apes in 800 locations in 69 countries around the world. Before we begin, I would like to point out that we have reached out to our community and requested that apes suggest the subject matters and questions that we're going to be covering today during this interview. So a lot of this is questions that have been asked by the public specifically for you. And I just have to say one more time, and it's an absolute honor to be able to speak with you. I'm very humbled.
After the reverse split, the conversion from APE to AMC and the reverse split, what happens to all the failed to delivers, the FTDs? His answer was they simply go away. It's like they never happened. And we looked at each other like, how can that be? He's like, well, we asked him again. Failed to delivers, when it comes to APE, when it converts to AMC that has reverse split, the conversion, then go to reverse stock split, what happens to the FTDs? He's like, they never existed. They get wiped away. They no longer exist. Like they just get sent back and just disposed of. How is that possible? How did they just go away? That's what he said. That is something that I had a really hard time digesting. Seeing it coming from our CEO that runs AMC. Now, there's some other questions that I asked him. We're already at 11 minutes. There's some other questions that I asked him, and I'm going to follow up with, right? But overall, the line of questioning was about Entera. There's questions about FTDs, more so of the T minus and so forth. And, that I'm going to get into. That I'm going to be more descriptive on. But these are the first two questions. Again, well, they're not in order, but these are two questions that I asked him. Number one is, do you believe in synthetic shares? His answer was no. I have a really hard time with that. Again, Gary Gensler, Adam Aron, they're saying synthetics don't exist. And everybody in this damn world and earth know that they exist. You got Citadel Securities and many other places selling billions and billions of shares, but never purchasing them. You can't tell me that AMC is not part of that. And then now you're going to tell me that after the conversion and reverse split, that all the FTDs for APE just go away? No longer exist? That's a bunch of BS.
FTDs go bye-bye.
AMC, OMC, where did you go wrong? Your hopiums run dry. Got a creepy asshole CEO, pulling all the strings. making nightmares come true, fucking destroying everything. AMC is trash, you're losing all your cash. Creepy ass old man running a shit show. Popcorn stale in empty shows. Everything smells like shit. Gotta get the out of AMC before it's too late. AMC is trash, you're losing all your cash. Creepy ass old man running a shit show.
The number one son.
Hi, everybody.